Welcome to the fantasy audiobook. Everyone changes their job. Is the Deathsinger a rubbish job? Chapter 21. After parting with Chen Yanyi, Yi Shu bought a lot of things, a lot of food and drinks. Most of them were the nutritional supplements that Grandpa needed and some medicines to help Grandpa recover. In the past, Yi Shu couldn't afford those expensive medicines. But now it's different, with more than 20 million in cash. Yi Shu bought all the best medicines that Grandpa could use. When Yi Shu returned home, he found that the door of his house was ajar. Yi Shu walked over quickly. Then, he heard Grandpa's voice coming from the house. "Mr. Wang, are you giving us a break on the rent and property?" "Old Yi, it's not that I won't give you a break. I know your family's situation, but I can't do anything about it." At this time, another man's voice sounded. "Your family has been in arrears with the physical management fee and rent for more than half a year. This is the limit of my suppression. In a few days, it will be our company's quarterly summary. I must collect this money. You can do whatever you want." Grandpa's voice was full of helplessness. "Hey, Lao Yi, don't you have an old thing?" At this time, the man's voice changed and said, "You know, now, rich people like to collect old things. If you really have no choice, give me your old thing and I will help you sell it." "No." Grandpa's tone was firm. "That thing, it was left to me by Shushu's grandmother, I can't." HMPH. At this time, the man snorted coldly and said, "Old Yi, I'm giving you this opportunity because we are old acquaintances. If you don't want to, tomorrow, I'll find someone to ask you and your grandson to leave. Mr. Wang, give me a few days, I'll go out tomorrow to find a solution." "You find a solution? What solution can you think of?" The man's voice was very unhappy, saying, "With your current half-disability, what can you do with a grandson who just graduated from high school? I advise you." Click. At this time, Yi Shu had already walked to the door and stretched out his hand to push the door open directly. I saw a bald man with a big belly sitting on the sofa in the room, crossing his legs. Grandpa was sitting in a wheelchair, serving him carefully, pouring tea and handing out fruit. And the man waved his hand with a look of disdain. Seeing Yi Shu push the door in, both of them were obviously stunned for a moment. Shu, you're back. You must be tired after running all day. Go back to your room and rest," Grandpa said quickly, looking a little nervous. He didn't want Yi Shu to have any psychological burden. Yi Shu felt sorry for Grandpa. Grandpa had endured too much for this family. In the past, their family had some savings. However, after Grandpa became disabled, the family lost their income, and gradually, they could not make ends meet. At this time, the man looked at Yi Shu and said indifferently, "Xiao Shu, you are back. You are so old now. Don't always leave the burden of the family to your grandpa. When you are on vacation, go out and find a job. Don't run around all day." This person spoke like an elder. Yi Shu knew this person. His name was Wang Dao. He was the property manager of their area. Yi Shu frowned and said, "It's not your turn to interfere in our family affairs. How much do we owe for property and rent?" Wang Dao glanced at Yi Shu and was a little unhappy, but still said, "Not much, a total of 15,000. As he said that, he said with a playful smile, "Why, can you take it out? If you can, I will leave immediately. If you can't, haha." His tone was a little disdainful, obviously teasing Yi Shu. Yi Shu was just a student who had just awakened. Where could he find so much money? It is obvious that Wang Dao has a purpose. He has known for a long time that Yi Yuanshan has an old item. He let Yi Yuanshan owe rent for so long just for that item. Yi Shu knew that the item was a very exquisite jade hairpin. "I heard from my grandfather before that this jade hairpin seemed to be made of very rare jade and was left to my grandfather when my grandmother passed away. For so many years, my grandfather has always carried it with him, and it is also my grandfather's only thought of my grandmother." This Wang Dao actually set his eyes on this item. Yi Shu's heart sank, and his face was a little cold. "Hey," Yi Yuanshan sighed and said, "That item, Grandpa." Yi Shu spoke and stopped his grandfather. He knew that his grandfather wanted to let go. He knew very well what that item meant to his grandfather, and he must not lose it. Yi Shu looked directly at Wang Dao and said, "Don't think about Grandpa's jade hairpin. Since you want money, I'll give it to you. Tell me the account number." "What?" Wang Dao was a little confused. Yi Shu said directly, "Give me your company's collection account. Don't you want money? I'll give you money." Looking at Yi Shu, Wang Dao was a little suspicious. He knew the situation of Yi Shu's family very well. He concluded that Yi Shu couldn't take out the money. However, now that Yi Shu said so, he didn't say anything and directly gave Yi Shu a collection account. As long as Yi Shu couldn't take out the money, he would take that thing. Yi Shu got the account given by Wang Dao and directly picked up his communication equipment to start operating. 1 minute later, ding! Wang Dao's device sounded a prompt. Your Longguo bank account, the last number 7,790 received a remittance, the remittance amount is 30,000 yuan. Yi Shu put down the communication device and looked at Wang Dao. I'll give you 30,000 yuan, and you don't come to my house to harass my grandfather this year. Also, if you have something to say, just say it, it's best not to pay attention to my grandfather's thing. Okay, we won't keep a supervisor at home. HMPH. Wang Dao's face was a little ugly. He didn't expect that Yi Shu really paid the money. At this time, he had already received the money, and the other party also paid an extra half year. He had no other excuses. Although he was unhappy, he had no choice but to leave Yi Shu's house. Shu, where did you get so much money? After Wang Dao left, Yi Yuenshin looked at Yi Shu and asked nervously. Yi Shu looked at Yi Yuenshin and smiled. He knew what his grandfather was worried about, so he said, "Grandpa, don't worry, I'm not going astray. This money came from a legitimate source. Shu, although we are poor, we can't do anything illegal." Yi Yuenshin seemed a little worried. Yi Shu smiled and said, "Grandpa, don't worry about this. Didn't I tell you that I have awakened a special profession? Today, relying on this profession, I have made some gains in the novice area. I got some good things and sold them for a lot of money." Yi Shu took out all the things he bought outside and piled them on the table, saying, "These are all bought for Grandpa. There are nutritional supplements and medicines to relieve your symptoms." Yi Yuenshin looked at these things and smiled with satisfaction, saying, Shu, you have the ability, which is a good thing. However, you are now in need of money for school, so don't spend too much on Grandpa." Yi Shu shook his head. Said, "Grandpa, you are wrong about this. People say that filial piety comes first. Grandpa raised me up. I am capable now. Isn't it right to respect Grandpa? Good child, you have this intention, and Grandpa is already very happy." Yi Yuenshin looked at Yi Shu and smiled with satisfaction. That night, Yi Shu lay in bed, unable to fall asleep for a long time. He had a lot of thoughts. For now, the novice area is no longer suitable for him. He wants to go to the wilderness area for real training. Yi Shu is thinking, the land of the whole world, except for the major base cities, is generally called the wilderness area. For ordinary humans living in the base cities, the wilderness area is synonymous with death. Many people have never been to the wilderness area in their entire lives. There are all kinds of monsters there. There are insidious and weird ones, powerful and savage ones, and many nearly invincible ones. A long time ago, this world was dominated by monsters, and humans were just food for monsters. It was not until the emergence of job changers among humans that this situation was slowly changed. If there had not been job changers who could match them among humans, humans might have been submerged in the dust of history. Once the job changers grow up, they are no less than any monsters. Under the protection of the job changers, after countless years of development, humans now have mastered a lot of high technology. Nowadays, we can deal with some low-level monsters with high technology. In addition, powerful warriors can deter those high-level monsters. Humans can now confront monsters. Humans live in the base city. Monsters live in the wilderness area. But the two do not live in peace. Monsters and humans are in friction all the time. Monsters have the idea of encroaching on the human base city and devouring humans, and humans also have the intention of exterminating monsters. Monsters often harass human base cities, and humans also go to the wilderness area to hunt monsters. And in places like the wilderness area, only the strong ones who have awakened the combat profession among humans can go there and fight with monsters. However, the wilderness area is also divided into levels. In terms of the degree of danger in the wilderness area is divided from low to high. green zone, blue zone, red zone, dangerous zone, and restricted zone. The monsters in the green zone are generally level 10 to level 20. The green zone is generally not far from the base city. After continuous hunting by humans, there are no high-level monsters there. The blue zone, which is farther away from the base city, has monsters from level 20 to 40. As for the red zone, it is beyond the control of humans. Once you enter the red zone, you have to survive entirely on your own. There are monsters around level 50. Those monsters are very powerful and have a certain level of intelligence and can think. It is said that there are even Beast King level monsters in the red zone, which are monsters that truly control the power of destruction. And the danger zone. Even if you are a powerful combat profession, don't even think about going there below level 60. Even if you are a strong man around level 60 and enter the danger zone, you are in danger of falling. As for the restricted area. Why is it called the restricted area? The meaning is very clear. It is an area that is forbidden to enter. Only the martial emperor can escape unscathed in that kind of place. Yi Shu's plan is actually to go to the green zone. The next day, just after dawn, Yi Shu got up and packed his things. Without waking up his grandfather, he left home quietly. Hundreds of miles north of Yanjing Base City, there is a military district stationed. This military district is the army stationed at the city's border. The entire barracks are on high alert, always on guard against monster attacks. And if the job changers want to leave the base city and go outside, they have to pass through the barracks. Boom! The first train passed by at high speed in the early morning and slowly stopped in front of this military district station. I saw a group of fully armed job changers getting off the train one after another. Most of them were hunters, who were going to hunt in the wilderness. Many hunters, who hunt in the green zone, make a living from this. Although hunter is a high-risk profession, it is also a high-income profession. Some powerful job changers form their own teams to hunt in the wilderness. You know, the fur and bones of monsters are all excellent materials and can be sold for a lot of money. If you are lucky and can get one or two good things, you will become rich overnight. Yi Shu also followed the crowd off the train and went directly to the supply base outside the military district. There is a supply base outside this military district, which is like a huge fortress. In it, there are all kinds of props and combat uniforms for sale for job changers, and there are also shops that recycle various materials. Here, it is dedicated to serving job changers. At this moment, the supply base is bustling with people coming and going. After entering the supply base, Yi Shu bought a set of combat uniforms, which is a must-have for entering the wilderness. Then, there are some compressed food that can be stored for a long time, water, etc., which are necessary things for going to the wilderness. After making full preparations, Yi Shu left the supply base and went directly through the military district to go to the outside world. Anyone who has awakened a combat profession and reached level 5 can go to the wilderness area for training, but only in the green zone. Others go to the wilderness area in a team, only Yi Shu goes alone. Although Chen Yanyi said she wanted to go with him, in Yi Shu's opinion, she was just joking with him. He didn't take it seriously. Just when Yi Shu passed through the border gate and left the base city to go to the wilderness. In the supply base, a person took a communication device and dialed a number. After a moment, he said, "Hello, Mr. Zhao, he has entered the wilderness area." Yes, that's right, I saw it with my own eyes. Yes, it's a person. I know. Okay, I'll wait for you here. After hanging up the call, the person looked up and looked at the direction where Yi Shu left, sneering. Haha, an ordinary person dared to offend Mr. Zhao and enter the wilderness openly. This time, you really don't take the road to heaven, but you break into hell. Tisk tisk, why don't you do something else, but dare to snatch a woman from Mr. Zhao? After more than an hour of traveling, Yi Shu was already far away from the base city. On a dilapidated ring road, Yi Shu, with a group of brothers, was moving forward. These brothers were his bone soldier. Not long after leaving the base city, Yi Shu summoned these guys. 10 bone soldiers, 5 in front, 5 in the back, and Yi Shu was walking in the middle. If a monster suddenly appeared, there would be bone soldiers to block it. Don't underestimate these bone soldiers, they are stronger than ordinary level 10 monsters. This is also the confidence of Yishu to create a wilderness area. With them, Yishu walked in the vast wilderness, feeling somewhat safe. Gurgle. He took out a bottle of mineral water from his storage space, drank a sip, and continued on the road. Ah! Continuing along the dilapidated road, Yishu found monsters not long after walking. It was a group of yellow mastiffs. Under Yishu's determination, the attributes of this group of mastiffs appeared in front of him. Wild Mastiff. Level 7. Strength 50. Agility 25. Spirit 20. Skill Bloodthirsty Bite. The Mastiff attacks the target, devours the target's flesh and blood, and can recover its own injuries. Introduction. Wild Mastiff, a completely mutated monster, appears in groups, bloodthirsty and cruel, attacks all living things they see, a very ferocious low-level monster. Hey, this is the first monster I encountered when I entered the wilderness area. 7 Level 7 Mastiffs. Their attributes are far inferior to my bone pawns, there should be no problem, guys, get to work. Yishu looked at a group of wilderness mastiffs in the distance and gave an order. Caw caw caw. After receiving Yishu's order, these bone soldiers immediately started to move, raising their heads one by one, with red light in their skeleton eyes. Charge! Kill them! As Yishu waved his hand, the bone soldiers holding steel knives ran towards the mastiffs frantically, very fast. Awoo! At the same time, the mastiffs also found Yishu. Woof woof! Woof woof! The mastiffs roared and rushed towards the bone soldiers, with bloodthirsty madness in their eyes. Such low-level monsters have no brains and only know how to kill. They dare to attack any race other than themselves. They didn't care about the group of skeletons in front of them. Bang bang. The moment they fought, these mastiffs were suppressed. They were no match for the bone soldiers. In terms of agility and strength, the mastiffs were not as good as the bone soldiers. Puff. As a bone soldier activated his skill, Bone Heavy Slash, the sharp steel knife chopped directly at the neck of the mastiff. Crack. Under the violent attack of the bone soldier, the mastiff's head was chopped off. Boom. At the same time, Yishu's explosive fireball fell. The fireball fell into the mastiff group and exploded immediately. The powerful explosion made the mastiff scream. Of course, under Yishu's special attack, the explosive fireball did not cause any damage to the skeleton blade soldier. Even if there was, it was just a little scratch. Roar. These mastiffs were blown to pieces by Yishu, and the skeleton blade soldier roared and attacked without hesitation. It didn't take long before all the mastiffs were killed. This also gave Yishu a lot of experience. Finally, Yishu would naturally not let go of the bodies of these mastiffs. Under death ingestion, the bodies of these mastiffs can also produce fine steel bones. What surprised Yishu was that the quality of fine steel bones produced by these mastiffs was better than what Yishu had obtained in the novice zone before. It's worthy of being a level 7 monster. The bones are harder than those of the monsters in the novice zone. Yishu grinned. These are all money. After collecting the following spoils, Yishu did not stop and continued to move forward with the skeleton blade soldier. Move forward all the way. Yishu encountered many scattered monsters, but monsters below level 10 could not stop him at all. The withered sword soldiers were too fierce. They were in front, and Yishu threw explosive fireballs from behind. They were invincible. Moreover, these withered sword soldiers were very obedient. As long as Yishu had a thought, they would do whatever he wanted. This was much better than leading a group of pig teammates. Moreover, the withered sword soldiers only needed to charge, and there was no need to worry about injuries. Once one was killed, Yishu could summon another one to replenish it. He was not afraid at all. The upper limit of the withered sword soldiers was 10. Once one of them died, this skill could be used to summon another one to replenish the maximum. Just when Yishu was chasing a few mastiffs, he suddenly became alert. Then, he saw in front of him, behind a dilapidated highway building, a mastiff monster that was more than 2 meters tall and 4 or 5 meters long, with long hair all over its body, like a huge armored vehicle, emerged. This mastiff is 2 times bigger than an ordinary mastiff. What is this? Yishu was shocked. A Lord-level monster. A Lord-level monster is the leader of a monster group, and its strength is several times that of an ordinary monster. Generally, Monsters living in groups have such a leader, and monsters of this level are called Lord level. Lord level monsters, even the lowest Black Iron level, are very strong. Job changers below level 10 don't dare to easily provoke Lord level monsters. Swish. With a flash of light, Yishu's determination technique was activated instantly, and the attributes of this monster immediately appeared in front of Yishu. Wild Mastiff Leader. Level. Black Iron level leader. Level 9. Strength 100. Agility 75. Spirit 50. Skill. Bloodthirsty Bite. The Mastiff leader attacks the target and devours the target's flesh and blood crazily, which can greatly restore its own injuries. Introduction. Wild Mastiff Leader, a completely mutated monster. As the leader of ordinary mastiffs, it is very ferocious, bloodthirsty and cruel. It attacks all living things it sees. Combat professions below level 10, it is best not to provoke it, otherwise, you may pay the price with your life. Comma. Bang. Bang. At this moment, Yishu's heartbeat finally accelerated a little. For him, this is a very powerful monster. Roar. As soon as the Mastiff leader ran out and saw Yishu, he immediately roared and rushed over with a gust of fishy wind. Little guys, come on. Facing the charge of the Dog leader. Yishu also reacted immediately, waved his hand, and issued an order. Ding. At this moment, the long-lost system prompt sounded again. System task released. Kill the Mastiff leader. Task reward. Get 2 chances to smash golden eggs. The system, which had not sounded for a long time, suddenly released a task at this time. Yishu was stunned. 2 chances to smash golden eggs. Hey, this time, I'm looking forward to getting something good. Then, the corners of his mouth rose. There was such a good thing. Not only did the system release the task, but it also had 2 chances. This time, Yishu was more determined to kill this Dog leader. He has mastered the attributes of the Dog leader, and he is confident that he can kill this monster. For him, Yishu will not let go of any opportunity to smash golden eggs. The moment Yishu accepted the task, his brothers, the Withered Bone Soldiers, have already pounced on the Dog leader. Yishu was in the back, staring calmly at the front, controlling the Withered Bone Soldiers. To deal with a leader-level monster, he must operate the Withered Bone Soldiers' attacks more carefully. Swoosh. Whoosh. Facing the surging Aoquan leader. The 2 Bone Sword Soldiers in the front took the lead in launching the attack. Buzz. The steel knives in their hands flashed with a cold light, and at the same time, they activated the skill Bone Heavy Slash and slashed towards the Mastiff. If this slashed, the Aoquan leader would definitely lose a layer of skin. Swish. The sharp blade chopped down, and the Mastiff leader also reacted, suddenly turning its huge body to the side. The attack of the Bone Sword Soldier failed. Dang. The steel knife almost passed by, chopped on the ground, and split a crack on the ground. Ha. Almost at the same time, another Bone Sword Soldier launched an attack. Swoosh. This knife was fierce and fast, and the sharp steel knife just scratched the joint of the Mastiff leader's front paw. The knife directly chopped the Mastiff leader and made him stagger. Ah. The Dog leader was also extremely ferocious. He raised his huge claws, roared, and slapped a Bone Soldier away. A Bone Soldier was slapped away and almost fell apart. But, swish, dang dang, kakaka, more Bone Soldiers attacked it. These Bone Soldiers were fearless and were not afraid of being injured or killed. They would attack in any way that was beneficial. Under the continuous attacks of the Bone Soldiers, the Mastiff leader fought and retreated. In itself, these Bone Soldiers were not much inferior to it. With the fierce attacks of so many Bone Soldiers, even if it was the leader, it was a little overwhelmed. Boom. With a huge explosion, Yishu also took action. The explosive fireball fell, making the Dog leader dizzy and dazed. Crack. Before it could react, the attack of the Bone Sword Soldier fell again. A woo. The Dog leader was all over, and then it suddenly burst into a powerful attack, forcing the Bone Sword Soldier to retreat, and raised its head and let out a long howl. Wah wah. Swish. Soon, there were rustling sounds in the surrounding bushes and the woods not far away. Then, one Mastiff after another poked its head out. Looking at the Mastiffs that appeared one after another, Yishu did not panic. Swish. Yishu opened his hands and began to gather his mental strength. Hey, I haven't used this trick yet. Since we are in this vast wilderness, it's a good time to try this trick of mine. Woof woof. Woof woof. The mastiffs gradually approached Yi Shu. Requiem. When Yi Shu officially launched this move. Buzz buzz buzz. Instantly, a black beam of light appeared above the heads of all the mastiffs around, including the head of the mastiff leader, and a huge beam of light also appeared. The black beam of light completely enveloped them. Boom. A moment later, the black beam of light fell and exploded. Paw, paw. The black beam of light fell, and under the powerful explosion damage, the mastiffs were covered in blood. Bang bang bang. The mastiffs fell one after another. Ho ho. The mastiff monster that fell to the ground unconsciously kicked twice with its 4 claws, tilted its head, and died. What a powerful skill. This was the first time that Requiem was used. The power of this move shocked Yi Shu. It was too powerful. However, the cooldown of this skill was a bit long, a full 10 minutes. This cooldown time means that this skill cannot be used frequently. This makes Yi Shu feel a little bit sorry. The mastiff leader was also killed by this move. It was already at low health, and it was also killed by this move. Swish. As the mastiff leader fell, Yi Shu's experience value skyrocketed. The huge experience value of the leader level monster directly allowed him to level up twice. He reached the height of level 7. Facing the level increase, Yi Shu hurriedly checked his attributes. Sure enough, he has one more skill. Skeleton Knight LV1. Consume 5 mental power to summon a Skeleton Knight to fight for you. You can only summon up to 3 Skeleton Knights. Another summoning skill. Yi Shu's heart moved. In fact, Yi Shu is quite satisfied with this type of skill. The Withered Bone Sword Soldier is very useful. Ding. Congratulations to the host. You have completed the task, kill the mastiff leader, and received a reward, 2 chances to smash the golden egg. At this moment, a voice came from Yi Shu's mind. This time, Yi Shu can be said to have a double harvest. Then, Yi Shu first used death ingestion on the bodies of these mastiffs. In the end, these mastiff monsters extracted a full 2 kilograms of high-quality fine steel bones. And the mastiff leader, Yi Shu, even extracted a palm-sized piece of fine steel bone that was already slightly transparent. This is it. Holding this diamond bone, Yi Shu was shocked. The quality of this fine steel bone exceeded the quality of all the fine steel bones he had obtained before. As this fine steel bone, the rumored extraordinary fine steel bone. Holding this fine steel bone, Yi Shu was in doubt. Afterwards, he took out the communicator and began to verify. After verification, he was almost certain that the fine steel bone in his hand. It was the extraordinary fine steel bone. It has surpassed the 2nd level material and has reached the threshold of the 3rd level material. Its hardness has reached a very amazing level. According to the data, super fine steel bone is a necessary material for making heavy weapons and super lasers. You know, super lasers are one of the most powerful defensive weapons in the base city. It is also a necessary weapon for humans to resist monster attacks. The data shows that this quality of fine steel bone can only be produced by leader-level monsters above level 30. Moreover, even leader-level monsters from level 30 to level 40 actually have a very low probability of producing this super fine steel bone. Oh my god, 1 or 2 or 10 million. When Yi Shu saw the price, he was completely upset. He weighed the piece in his hand, which was at least half a catty. Half a catty, but 50 million. This is just an estimated price, the actual price may be higher. Make a fortune. This is Yi Shu's only thought now. Now he knows how amazing the skill death ingestion is. Even if his profession only has this one skill before the first transformation, it is still very terrifying. With this skill, it is simply an endless source of wealth. Then, Yi Shu unfolded the system. Looking at the 5 brand new golden eggs, and 2 chances to smash the golden eggs. Yi Shu didn't hesitate. After selecting, he smashed one directly. Crack. As the first golden egg cracked, a bottle of light green potion appeared inside. Potion. Yi Shu's heart moved. Congratulations host. Smash a 1-star golden egg, and get a 1-star super recovery potion as a reward. Super recovery potion. Yi Shu hurriedly checked the instructions. Super recovery potion, a potion that can quickly recover from injuries, even broken bones, can be recovered in a very short time. Oh my god, Even broken bones can be quickly recovered. The effect of this recovery potion is not bad. Looking at the description of the potion, Yishu nodded. This level of recovery potion is definitely a rare good thing for people who venture into the wild. Fighting monsters in the wild, it is inevitable to get injured. With such a bottle of potion, it can be regarded as a means of saving life. Very good. There is another chance to smash the golden egg. Continue. Crack. When the golden egg cracked, a card appeared inside. Card. Yishu's heart moved. Could it be a prop? Swish. Looking at the card that fell into his hand, Yishu hurriedly checked the function of this card. Teleport card 1 star. After use, the user can be instantly teleported to 10 kilometers away in the specified direction. Teleport card. Holding this card, Yishu pondered for a moment. If used properly, this card is definitely a god card. Teleporting to 10 kilometers away instantly can be said to be a very powerful life-saving prop. With these two things, Yishu became even more unscrupulous. Then, he flipped his hand to activate the skill Skeleton Knight. Roar. As the huge hexagram formation shown, 3 cavalrymen riding bone horses, covered in white bones, holding bone spears rushed out of the magic circle. The 3 skeleton knights were majestic, riding on bone horses, their bodies gleaming with metallic luster. They held sharp bone spears in their hands, exuding a powerful aura, looking down on all directions. Squeak. The bone horses couldn't help but snort. Kacha. The bone knights couldn't help but take a few steps back. It seemed that they were a little afraid of these skeleton knights. Not bad. Looking at the 3 skeleton knights, Yishu nodded, and then immediately checked the attributes. He wanted to know the ability of this skeleton knight. Skeleton Knight LV1. Summon. Strength. 200. Agility. 100. Spirit. 80. Endurance. 100. Skill. Bone Spear Piercing. The skeleton knight launches a fierce charge, piercing the opponent with a bone spear, ignoring 50% of the target's defense, causing 150% damage. This. After reading the attributes of the skeleton knight, Yishu was completely shocked. The level 1 skeleton blade soldier is already very strong, and can be said to completely defeat monsters within level 10. However, this skeleton knight is even more amazing. This attribute is even better than that of the black iron level leader. This attribute can even be better than that of the silver level leader. Looking at these 3 majestic skeleton knights, Yishu couldn't help but grin. Now, he has nothing to fear in this trip to the wilderness. If you want to save your life, you can save your life. If you want to attack, you can attack. Little ones, let's go. At this moment, Yishu was in high spirits. There were skeleton knights leading the way in front, and skeleton blade soldier behind, and Yishu was in the middle and very safe. Just when Yishu was searching for monsters everywhere in high spirits. Less than 20 kilometers away from him, an elite team of 5 was also approaching him rapidly. 4 of these 5 people are combat professions. A warrior holding a long sword, a gunner carrying a sniper rifle, an assassin holding a dagger, and a knight holding a heavy shield. This is a standard hunter team. They are all well equipped and of high level, all of them are hunters who have completed the first transformation. The warrior holding the long sword has even completed the second transformation and reached level 23. They are the Spark Hunter team, a famous hunter team in Yanjing City. As for, following behind them is a pale young man, a level 12 detector. That's right, this person is Zhao Jinbo. Yesterday, after being driven away by Su Qingmu, he became more and more angry. When has he ever suffered such a blow since he was a child? After that, he squatted outside the Jufu building. Then, he touched the downstairs of Yishu's house. He didn't dare to offend Su Qingmu, he blamed all this on Yishu. After he knew that Yishu was just a low-level person living in the slums. He sent people to keep an eye on Yishu, looking for a chance to take revenge on Yishu. When Yishu left the base city, he knew that his chance had come. Since Yishu left the base, he was not taking revenge, he wanted to get rid of Yishu. Chen Yanyi had long been regarded as his forbidden fruit, and he had always regarded himself as Chen Yanyi's man. Now, Chen Shu, a low-level mud-legged man, dared to touch his woman. In his heart, he has sentenced Chen Shu to death. Just when Yishu left the base city alone, he knew that his chance had come. After Yishu left the base city, he quickly found the Spark Hunter team, that had a cooperative relationship with their family. The Spark Hunter team did not only hunt monsters, but also people. Usually, they helped the Zhao Jinbo family do dirty work. As long as the price was in place, they would do anything. Of course, even they dare not do murder in the wilderness. In the base city, everyone is protected by national laws. In the base city, murder is prohibited by the state. Anyone who dares to commit it is sentenced to death. Even they dare not go against the state. However, outside the base city, it is different. In the wild, life and death are often just a matter of a moment. It is reasonable to die in the wild. Even the state has nothing to say. In a building that has been abandoned for who knows how many years, Yi Shu took a telescope and looked down carefully. He encountered many monsters along the way. But they were basically low-level monsters within level 10. Monsters within level 10 were too easy for Yi Shu. Now, he has the withered knife soldiers and skeleton knights to clear the way. Monsters within level 10, even if they appear in groups, cannot pose a threat to him. As his level increases, the attack power of his explosive fireball becomes more and more powerful. He can even kill monsters around level 5 in groups. The explosive fireball he throws out now is just like throwing out a small bomb. It is very powerful. Yi Shu is in a town that has been abandoned for a long time, and countless buildings have become ruins due to aging. This place has long become a paradise for monsters. At this moment, Yi Shu is standing on top of a pile of ruins. He held a telescope in his left hand and a bottle of water in his right hand. He chewed a mouthful of compressed beef and drank a mouthful of water. Then he put down the telescope, tightened the cap of the water bottle and put it into the portable storage space. Then he continued to look down with the telescope. He wanted to see farther from this commanding height and search for monsters worthy of his attack. Suddenly, Yi Shu's eyes lit up, and he saw a huge, red monster on one of the abandoned streets in the town. It was like a heavy tank-like monster slowly moving forward, and behind him, followed a large group of pig monsters. This is a terrifying pig. Yi Shu was shocked. When he was in school, he had seen the illustrations and introductions of this monster in the textbook. Terror pig. A very sturdy pig monster. It has a lot of scales all over its body, and its defense is amazing. At first glance, it looks like a heavy armored tank. And in terms of defense and impact, this guy is not weaker than a real tank made by humans, and is even stronger. This kind of monster is generally level 15 or 16, and can even grow to level 20. The terror pig also has a nickname, called the Wilderness Rookie Killer. If a newcomer encounters it, it is best to take a detour. Pop! Yi Shu put down the telescope in his hand, looked at the terror pig in the distance, and grinned. Hey, I finally met a decent monster. This group of terror pigs are walking towards Yi Shu. Wait until they are close enough. Yi Shu waved his hand and issued an order. Little ones, go, rush them for me. Caw caw caw. Under the ruins, Yi Shu's brothers stood in a row. After receiving Yi Shu's order, they began to move. Caw caw. First, 3 tall skeleton knights rushed out with bone spears in hand. And the bone knives also followed with steel knives. Yi Shu on the ruins was not idle either. He raised his hand and threw a burst fireball. Boom! The explosive fireball fell into the herd of pigs and exploded suddenly, with a powerful explosion and scorching flames. These pigs wailed continuously. Even the pigs, which were known for their defensive power, were seriously injured by Yi Shu's explosive fireball. In terms of power, the explosive fireball was not enough to kill the pigs. It could only injure 5 or 6 pigs at a time, and the pigs farther away from the explosion range were only slightly scratched. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. At this moment, the skeleton knight had already rushed into the herd of pigs. The skeleton knight's speed was amazing. After Yi Shu's explosive fireball bombarded, he ran into the herd of pigs in less than 4 or 5 seconds. Puff! The powerful skeleton knight, as fast as lightning, rushed to the front, holding an extremely sharp bone spear, and madly attacked these pigs. Only, swoosh, swoosh, 2 sounds were heard. The heads of 2 level 12 terror pig monsters were violently pierced by the skeleton knight. The attributes of these terror pigs are much worse than those of the skeleton knight. Even if their defense is very strong, they still can't withstand the stabbing of the skeleton knight. Moreover, the Skeleton Knight's skills can largely ignore defense, and they have a greater advantage against these terror pigs. The difference in strength between the two sides is too great, and it is almost a one-sided slaughter. Every time the Skeleton Knight attacks, he can take away a terror pig. Soon, the Skeleton Knight soldiers also followed and joined the battlefield. There were Skeleton Knights in front to open the way, and the Skeleton Knight soldiers in the back to make up for it. They almost swept the group of terror pigs. In the distance, Yi Shu, standing on the top of the ruins, just watched. He was very relaxed, and from time to time he threw out the explosive fireball to help. Ho, 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 a terror pig discovered Yi Shu. Roar. Under the roar of the huge pig. Immediately, the pigs bypassed the Skeleton Knight and rushed towards Yi Shu with roars. This pig leader seems to have discovered that I am the instigator. Yi Shu cursed inwardly. It seems that I can't just stand by and watch. Get out of my way. Looking at the pigs rushing towards him, Yi Shu turned back, dodged, clenched his fist, and smashed it fiercely on the body of a pig that rushed towards him. Don't forget, Yi Shu is not only good at long-range attacks. After reaching the first level of physical fitness, he drank the superpower strengthening potion, and his physical fitness became stronger, and his melee ability was also not weak. Yi Shu's punch was at least 1,500 pounds. Bang! The pig was hit by Yi Shu's punch head-on, and its forehooves twisted, and its huge body took a few steps back and fell into the ruins. Roar! Another pig roared and rushed towards Yi Shu. This guy's impact speed must have reached 20 meters per second, at least not less than this value. Its huge body like a small truck hit it, it would definitely be uncomfortable if it was hit. Bang! Yi Shu would not be hit by it easily, he just dodged. He avoided the collision of the terrifying pig, and then kicked the running terrifying pig with a kick. The terrifying pig was kicked by Yi Shu and its huge body tilted, and it fell down, and then quickly got up again. Then, Yi Shu opened his hand, a ball of fire condensed, and threw it directly at the terrifying pig. Bang! The fireball exploded, and the terrifying pig was directly blown away for several meters. Swish! At this time, Yi Shu actually upgraded. After his brothers killed a lot of terrifying pigs, Yi Shu received a lot of experience points and upgraded directly. Swish! At the same time, Yi Shu gained another skill. Purgatory Walker LV1 consume 10 mental power, summon the power of Purgatory to condense in the body, transform into melee form, and obtain new skills. Special. When you transform into the state of Purgatory Walker, the original skills will enter the forbidden state and cannot be used. Only specific skills can be used, but the skills that have been released will not be affected. Release the skill again to cancel the change. This skill. Looking at the new skills, Yi Shu didn't quite understand. Transform into melee. Obtaining new skills. Although he didn't quite understand, Yi Shu was eager to try, he wanted to give it a try. Ding. System task released. Kill the terror pig leader, limited to 3 hours, 2 hours 59 minutes and 59 seconds. Task reward. Get a chance to upgrade the golden egg. Note, the upgraded golden egg will not be refreshed until it is smashed. At this moment, a voice came from Yi Shu's mind. The system, at this time, issued a task again. Upgrade the golden egg. Yi Shu was slightly stunned. This is a great thing. The first level golden egg is already quite good. If it is a higher level golden egg, what will it produce? Thinking of this, Yi Shu was a little excited. Looking at the fear pig staring at him. Hee. Yi Shu smiled slightly. Boom. Then, he directly activated the skill Purgatory Walker. Whoosh. At the moment he activated the skill, endless black mist emerged from his body and wrapped him. Crack, crack. Then, only a series of light sounds were heard. A moment later, his whole body was covered with a layer of bone armor, even his head was covered. The snow-white bone armor had a very sharp shape, and Yi Shu also had a bone sword in his hand. Looking at his attributes, they have completely changed. Name: Yi Shu. Occupation: Death Chanter Melee, Hellwalker State. Title: Warrior Apprentice. Level: 7. Strength: 180. Agility: 120. Spirit: 100. Skill: Death Ingestion LV1 Search for corpses and find useful items forbidden. Skill: Exploding Fireball LV1 Condensed Fireball, attack your target, the fireball will explode after landing, causing explosion damage. Banned. Skill. Bone Soldier LV1 consume 1 mental power, summon up to 10 Bone Soldier to fight for you. Banned. Skill. Requiem LV1 consume 10 mental power, lock all hostile targets within a kilometer around you, and cause a magic attack. Banned. Skill. Skeleton Knight LV1 consume 5 mental power, summon a Skeleton Knight to fight for you, and you can only summon up to 3 Skeleton Knights. Banned. Skill. Purgatory /LV1 no consumption, condense the power of Purgatory in your weapon, and send out a sword energy to attack your target. Available. Skill. Prison Combo LV1 no consumption, burst out 3 combos at super fast speed in an instant, each combo causes 120% damage. Available. Skill. Prison. Impact /LV1 no consumption, rush to the target at super fast speed, and launch a weak point slash on the target. Usable. Sure enough, after Yi Shu entered the melee state, his strength and agility increased significantly, but his mental strength decreased relatively a lot. All his long-range skills are in a forbidden state. But in contrast, he got 3 new melee skills, and they are no consumption skills, so he can use them without any scruples. Hey, let me try this melee state ability. Staring at the huge boar leader, Yi Shu smiled, let me try you. Wearing a snow-white bone armor and holding a sharp bone sword, Yi Shu jumped directly from the top of the ruins. Yi Shu fell at a high speed. Wearing bone armor, he ignored the risk of falling at all. This bone armor has super high defense. Bang! After a moment, Yi Shu landed easily on the ground below. Whoosh! The next moment, Yi Shu, who had landed, immediately ran towards the battlefield at high speed. At this moment, he was in a highly sensitive state, like a flexible monkey. With 2 leaps, Yi Shu arrived on the street, opposite the group of pigs. Yi Shu immediately spotted the leader of the pigs hiding behind the pigs. He stepped forward step by step with a bone sword in his hand. Hee. Immediately, a pig rushed towards Yi Shu. The Skeleton Knight looked back and seemed stunned when he saw Yi Shu in this state. Gotcha. Then, a Skeleton Knight immediately rushed over and killed the pig that was about to attack Yi Shu. Yi Shu calmly approached the pig leader step by step. Any pig that dared to attack him was solved by the Skeleton Knight. In this state, Yi Shu did not need to be commanded, and the Skeleton Knight actually took the initiative to protect the master. At this moment, 3 Skeleton Knights had come around Yi Shu. They sniped at anyone who dared to approach Yi Shu like a guard. The skeleton sword soldiers were not idle either, and attacked the pigs frantically. Roar! Finally, 2 pigs avoided the Skeleton Knight's interception. There were too many of them, and even a strong Skeleton Knight could not intercept them all. They circled around, looked at Yi Shu, and let out a low roar. They would not allow anyone to threaten their leader. As the ground vibrated, 2 pigs rushed over with a rumble, ready to intercept Yi Shu. Looking for death, Yi Shu, who was moving forward, did not dodge at all, and was too lazy to dodge. He also wanted to try his ability in close combat. Prison combo. As Yi Shu whispered, he activated his skill. Puff, puff. As the skill was activated, Yi Shu's figure flashed, and he attacked at high speed in an instant. The bone sword in his hand turned into 2 streams of light and flashed by. At close range, the 2 pigs had no time to dodge, and their heads were violently chopped off. Even the 3rd knife of Yi Shu's skill combo was not used. The 2 huge pigs fell to the ground, and their eyes were full of fear on their chopped heads. They soon lost their vitality and fell down. Whoosh! Yi Shu charged with all his strength, and 3 Skeleton Knights opened the way and knocked away the pigs that intercepted Yi Shu. Yi Shu suddenly jumped up and landed directly in front of the pig leader. Ho ho! The huge body of the terror pig stood still, staring at Yi Shu not far away. Although it intuitively felt that the human in front of it was dangerous, it did not run away. As a leader, its pride did not allow it to run away. In just a moment, Yi Shu had read the attributes of this terror pig leader. Wild terror pig leader. Level. Silver leader. Level. 15. Strength. 270. Agility. 120. Spirit. 100. Skill. Destruction collision. The terror pig leader charges at its target, causing huge damage. Skill. Trampling. the terror pig leader tramples its target wantonly, causing huge damage. Introduction. The leader of the terror pigs, a completely mutated monster. As the leader of the ordinary terror pigs, it is very ferocious, bloodthirsty and cruel, attacking all living things it sees. If you come to the wild for the first time, it is best not to provoke it. The reputation of the rookie killer is not taken by itself, but the bloody lesson of mankind for countless years. Level 15 Silver Leader. Yi Shu's eyes lit up. The attribute is very strong. Okay, through you, see how strong I am now. Yi Shu is not afraid at all. He has a way to save his life. If it doesn't work, he is sure to run away. Yi Shu held the bone sword in his hand and walked towards the terror pig step by step. After years of hard training, he also wanted to try how good his melee ability is. The leader of the terror pig stood quietly and looked at Yi Shu. Its hoof, which was bigger than a washbasin, dug the ground heavily, like a huge chariot going to battle. The nearly 3-meter-tall leader of the terror pig looked at Yi Shu, who was wearing a bone armor. There was a faint flash of blood in his eyes, and he let out a low roar. His scales gradually changed from black to light red. For a moment, the terror pig exuded an amazing aura. Even the pair of fangs in its mouth became particularly creepy, like a pair of scimitars that choose their prey. Roar! The terror pig leader roared in a low voice. It was very alert and did not attack Yi Shu first. Instead, it was observing Yi Shu. This beast has already gained some intelligence. Yi Shu moved forward step by step, always alert. Just when the distance between Yi Shu and the terror pig leader was reduced to 50 meters. Swoosh! Yi Shu moved. Prison. Impact slash. Launch. In an instant, Yi Shu turned directly into a silver stream of light and arrived in front of the terror pig leader in the blink of an eye. Crack. The next moment, the bone sword in Yi Shu's hand pierced directly into the neck of the terror pig leader. Dang! Although this sword was like chopping on a diamond, it still penetrated 3 inches into the flesh, and scarlet blood flowed down the neck of the terror pig leader. Ha! The terror pig leader suddenly raised his head and directly threw Yi Shu away. This guy. Yi Shu's face changed drastically. The defense of this terror pig leader was too strong. This attack, Yi Shu had the purpose of killing it, but he didn't expect that he only injured it. This sword couldn't cut off its head at all. This guy. It's not comparable to those little terror pigs. If it was a little terror pig, Yi Shu's move would kill it instantly. But against the terror pig leader, it just made it bleed a little. Yi Shu reacted very quickly. After a successful attack. Swish. In an instant, he leapt up like lightning, and the leader of the terror pig also leapt up almost instantly, and this leap was as high as 10 meters. Although this guy is huge, his flexibility is not low. The leader of the terror pig roared in a low voice and looked at Yi Shu. It was obvious that he was angry. This human dared to hurt him. The cold eyes with a hint of blood exuded an astonishing murderous intent, and the huge body rushed towards Yi Shu crazily. Pa! Yi Shu landed. He was not panicked, very calm. Boom! A powerful force suddenly erupted. Concentrating the strength on his legs, and then exerting force to fly up, Yi Shu's figure suddenly rose again, avoiding the impact of the terror pig leader. Boom! The impact of the terror pig leader directly knocked a deep pit on the entire ground. Come again! Yi Shu waved the bone sword in his hand and rushed towards the terror pig leader again. Boom! A moment later, Yi Shu was thrown out by the leader of the terror pigs. Pa! 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 After landing, Yi Shu rolled on the ground. Boom! 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 The leader of the terror pigs rushed towards Yi Shu like a chariot out of control, trying to kill him. Swish! Yi Shu turned over and climbed up. Twisted the bone sword in his hand. Hell! Purgatory slash! A black energy flowed on the bone sword in Yi Shu's hand. As he swung the sword fiercely. Swish! A strong black sword energy was instantly slashed by Yi Shu, directly slashing the body of the terror pig leader. Crack! Even though it had amazing defense, it was chopped to pieces by this move. Ho ho! The terror pig leader let out a strange low roar, and then the thick forehooves slammed the already dilapidated concrete floor, splashing a cloud of dust. Boom! The next moment, the terror pig leader moved, and rushed towards Yi Shu with a gust of smelly wind. It was as if a heavy chariot was speeding and crashing into it. The two sharp and long fangs, like two giant scimitars, pushed over. Ha! Yi Shu's movements were not slow either. After a successful attack, when the Terror Pig leader rushed over, Yi Shu dodged quickly and moved to the side of the Terror Pig leader. The Terror Pig leader, who was running fast, had no time to stop. Then Yi Shu's eyes flashed with cold light, and the power of his whole body suddenly burst out and directly entered his arm, and the ruthless bone sword was a swift upward slash. This sword accurately hit the wound left by Yi Shu before. The tip of the bone sword slashed across the neck of the Terror Pig leader from bottom to top. Puff! The neck of the Terror Pig leader was injured again. Attack! At the same time, Yi Shu shouted. Swish, swish, swish. In 3 directions, 3 skeleton knights riding on white bone war horses rushed out of the encirclement of the Terror Pigs, trampling on the ground. Quick and swift. Swish, swish, swish. In less than 5 seconds, 3 bone spears broke through the air directly, and at the same time, the skeleton knights activated their skills. Bone spear piercing. As 3 bone spears pierced into the body of the Terror Pig leader, they directly pierced through it. Although the Terror Pig leader's defense is very strong, but the skeleton knight's skills are used to break defense. The skeleton knight can ignore 50% of the defense when launching skills. Under this attack, the Terror Pig leader's defense is just a decoration. What's more, the skeleton knight's attributes are not much weaker than the Terror Pig leader. In a single fight, the skeleton knight can fight it. As for whether it can be killed so beautifully, that is another matter. Yi Shu, when dealing with the Terror Pig leader, has already communicated with the skeleton knight secretly. What he is waiting for is the moment when the skeleton knight takes action. Otherwise, they will not take action. Once Yi Shu wants them to take action, it is time to kill this Terror Pig leader. Crack, 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 as the skeleton knight pulled out the bone spear. Boom! With a sound, the huge body of the Terror Pig leader fell down with a bang, leaving 3 blood holes on his body. The skeleton knight's attack was very tricky, and these 3 blood holes almost pierced the heart of the Terror Pig leader. It will definitely not survive. Wah wah! The Terror Pig leader continued to twitch on the ground for a while before he died completely. Hoo! Yi Shu took 2 deep breaths, watching the scene of the Terror Pig leader spurting blood. His heart was actually a little excited. Yi Shu was quite satisfied with the actual combat ability of this close combat state. It was very strong. In addition, now, Yi Shu is becoming more and more adept at controlling the skeleton sword soldiers and skeleton knights. The green zone should not be a big problem for him. With the fall of the Terror Pig leader, the rich experience points allowed Yi Shu to level up again. However, this time, he did not gain any skills. Ding! At this moment, the system prompt sounded again, and the mechanical sound rang in Yi Shu's mind. Congratulations to the host, completing the system task, killing the Terror Pig leader. Task reward: your golden egg has been upgraded. Swish! Sure enough, when Yi Shu opened the system panel, one of his remaining golden eggs had only 1 star on it. But now, another star has split out and turned into 2 stars. In other words, this golden egg has become a 2-star golden egg. 2-star golden egg, Yi Shu said secretly. I don't know what good things can be smashed for me. At this moment, he was a little looking forward to it. Unfortunately, there is no chance to smash the golden egg now, and it cannot be smashed open. Then, Yi Shu looked up and looked at the Terror Pig leader. After the Terror Pig leader fell, its little brothers, the little Terror Pigs, turned around and ran away. Yi Shu's target was the Terror Pig leader. If the little Terror Pig ran away, it would run away. He recalled the Skeleton Knight and the Skeleton Sword Soldier. Yi Shu activated the skill Hell Walker again. Crack, crack, crack. Shrouded by layers of black fog, Yi Shu's bone armor slowly faded away, and the bone sword in his hand also dissipated a little bit, and he resumed the long-range state again. Swish! He opened his hands directly and activated the skill Death Ingestion towards the Terror Pig leader. Hoo! As the black fog dissipated, the huge body of the Terror Pig leader was eroded cleanly, and finally, a piece of extraordinary fine steel bone weighing 3 pounds was left. This is another considerable fortune. Yi Shu happily put it into his personal storage space. Suddenly, Yi Shu found that there was something on the ground. Something exploded. Yi Shu was slightly surprised and stepped forward to look at the thing on the ground. It was a light red dagger. At a glance at the attributes. Weapon. Red blood dagger, bronze. Strength. +5. Agility. +5. Additional armor break. The user's attack ignores the target's 5% defense. Not bad. Yi Shu took the dagger, played with it for a while, and then threw it into the storage space. Although this dagger was okay, Yi Shu couldn't use it. Whether it was in melee or ranged form, the dagger was not his professional weapon. Then, Yi Shu continued to move forward. Time passed little by little. Since Yi Shu entered this area, a large number of monsters around level 10 in this area have suffered. 3 skeleton knights led the way. 10 withered knife soldiers pressed the formation, and Yi Shu was in the middle of the command. Every time he encountered a monster, he swept it across. In just one day, Yi Shu collected a large amount of materials. He even got a piece of the 3rd level material, red gold bone. Although it was not much, only as big as a bottle cap, it was a 3rd level material. It was inestimable value. It was extracted from a porcupine monster with quite good strength. Although that guy was not a leader level monster, it was level 18 and it took Yi Shu some effort to take it down. That guy was too fast. Afterwards, Yi Shu used death ingestion on that guy and actually got a piece of 3rd level material. But, it was only that time. Afterwards, Yi Shu spent a lot of time chasing and killing a lot of those porcupines, but no more of that kind of material was exploded. Even superb fine bone did not explode. Yi Shu exclaimed, "What a pity. Perhaps, only that monster was special." Walking on the dilapidated highway leading to nowhere, Yi Shu was in a good mood. After all, the harvest of this day was really rich. Well, it's time to find a place to rest. Looking at the gradually darkening sky, Yi Shu said secretly. He didn't plan to go back. Firstly, it would take several hours to go back now. Looking at the sky, it will soon be dark, and he doesn't need to travel in the dark. The wilderness in the night is very dangerous. Secondly, Yi Shu is not satisfied yet, he wants to continue fighting and upgrading. In his plan, he must at least upgrade to level 10 to be able to perform a transformation. Well, just at this moment, suddenly, Yi Shu felt a faint vibration behind him, and he turned his head to look. What is that? In the far north of the already dilapidated highway, there was a figure running in panic. This figure sometimes ran, sometimes took a step, and the light figure jumped several meters to 10 meters away, at a very fast speed. Huo Yuyan. Yi Shu recognized at a glance that the person who fled in a panic was Huo Yuyan, one of the 3 school beauties of the 9th God of War University. Among the 3 school beauties in the 9th God of War High School, Huo Yuyan is the most mysterious. Although she is famous and beautiful, she rarely shows up in public. Yi Shu could recognize her at a glance because he often met her when he was training in the martial arts hall before. Like Yi Shu, she often practiced alone in the Beyond Martial Arts Hall. Despite this, they didn't communicate much. In Yi Shu's impression, she seemed to always be practicing a set of boxing that Yi Shu didn't quite understand. Once, Yi Shu had fought with her a few times. Huo Yuyan. Don't be fooled by her beauty, she is very strong in combat, and can punch 1,500 pounds. The punching power is even higher than Yi Shu at that time. In Yi Shu's impression, she has always been a taciturn and introverted girl, and she doesn't seem to have many friends on weekdays. She often keeps to herself. Suddenly, Yi Shu discovered that a huge monster appeared on the horizon in the distance, and that monster was the thing chasing Huo Yuyan. It was a huge rhino monster, so big that it was almost as big as a room. That guy was bigger than the leader of the terrified pig that Yi Shu encountered before. Although this rhino monster was very big, its running speed was not slow at all. No wonder Huo Yuyan fled in embarrassment, she actually provoked such a big guy. Since they met, Yi Shu would never let Huo Yuyan be killed in front of him. In fact, there are not many people that Yi Shu likes, and Huo Yuyan is one of them. Swish. Seeing that the rhino monster was about to catch up with Huo Yuyan, Yi Shu rushed out directly, and soon, Yi Shu came near Huo Yuyan. Explosive fireball technique. Ha! With his palm open, a fireball was directly condensed in Yi Shu's palm. Boom! Then, the fireball was thrown out by Yi Shu and fell in front of the rhino monster. The fireball exploded instantly after landing. The powerful explosion energy set off a gust of wind, which directly forced the rhino monster back, and then the rising smoke blocked the rhino monster's sight. Taking advantage of this gap, Yishu rushed into the smoke and grabbed Huo Yuyan's hand. Huo Yuyan was startled at first, but when she found out that it was Yishu, she calmed down. Let Yishu hold her soft little hand. Let's go. Yishu turned around and ran with Huo Yuyan without any hesitation. The level of the rhino monster was very high, and Yishu could no longer read its information. To be on the safe side, Yishu did not attack it rashly, but saved Huo Yuyan and left. The two figures quickly disappeared in this area. When the smoke and dust cleared, there was no human figure around. Roar! The rhino monster roared angrily. In an abandoned building, Yishu hid inside with Huo Yuyan. They climbed all the way to the top floor, trying to hide their breath. These monsters have a very sensitive sense of smell, especially high-level monsters. After a long time, Yishu, who was lying on the balcony and watching, finally turned around and returned to the house. At this time, inside the house, a beautiful woman was sitting in the house recovering from her injuries. Although her face was a little pale, it couldn't cover up her amazing beauty. Beside her, there was a long sword. She had long flowing hair and wore a silver battle armor, the elegant lines of which outlined her graceful figure. The peaks on her chest were so proud that they seemed to stretch out the battle armor. Huo Yuyan. She is indeed a school beauty. There is nothing to fault about her appearance or figure. Looking at the 9th War God High School, the only girl who can compete with Lin Ran in terms of beauty is probably Huo Yuyan. Although the 9th War God High School has 3 school beauties, each of them has its own merits. But there is another one who has not been to school for many years. Anyway, Yishu has only heard of her name and has never seen her in person. We only know her name, which is not unusual. In the 9th War God University, everyone knows the names of the 3 school beauties. As for the mysterious school beauties who are only known by name but never seen, it is said that she was discovered by a scout when she was a freshman. She has signed a contract with a media company and is doing live broadcasts. She seems to be a super anchor. However, Yishu has never been interested in this aspect. Therefore, Yishu knew very little about that school beauty. It's okay. That guy has gone far away. Yishu returned to the room and said, looking at the pale Huo Yuyan, I'm curious, how did you get involved with that kind of existence? There are not many guys of that level in the entire green zone, and you actually got involved. Huo Yuyan heard Yishu's voice and slowly opened her eyes. She looked up at Yishu, shook her head, and said helplessly, I don't want to provoke that kind of monster either. I don't want to do anything to get myself killed. I just accidentally touched its nest. I didn't do anything. It chased me for hundreds of miles. If it weren't for you, I might be in danger this time. As she said that, she looked at Yishu deeply, with a complicated look in her eyes. Yishu leaned against the wall, smiled helplessly, and said, we are all classmates. I can't just stand by and watch someone die. By the way, you came to the wilderness alone. Huo Yuyan looked at Yishu and said, aren't you alone too? Okay. Seeing that she didn't seem to want to talk, Shu didn't ask any more questions. Instead, he shrugged and said, it's safe here for the time being. I have cleared all the monsters around. You should be safe here tonight. Rest here for a night and go back to the base city tomorrow. After that, Yishu stood up and planned to leave. Yishu. When Yishu walked to the door, Huo Yuyan suddenly spoke and called Yishu. Something. Yishu looked back at her. Huo Yuyan stared at Yishu and finally said, can I trust you? Yishu chuckled, this, you need to judge for yourself. After a moment of silence, Huo Yuyan sighed and said, in the green zone, there is a dragon beast. Dragon beast. Yishu was shocked. Dragon beast. As the name suggests, only monsters with a trace of dragon blood are qualified to be called dragon beasts. The value of a dragon beast, whether dead or alive, is immeasurable. Dragon blood and dragon bones are both priceless treasures. But, the lowest level of dragon beasts is at least level 30. Logically speaking, monsters of this level should not appear in the green zone. Chapter 31. Dragon Beast. Yishu was silent. Yishu knew the value of these 2 words very well. Even the lowest level dragon beast. That was not something that a fledgling student like them could deal with. Although the dragon beast with dragon blood was full of treasures. But if you want to attract the attention of the dragon beast, you must be prepared to die. Because the dragon beast is a very powerful existence. Combat professions below level 30 are not qualified to provoke it. He looked at Huo Yuyan with a strange look and said, I say, you are really brave. You dare to provoke the dragon beast. Huo Yuyan took a deep breath, and her full peaks trembled slightly. She looked at Yi Shu and said, since I dare to attract the attention of the dragon beast, it is naturally reasonable. Oh, Yi Shu nodded thoughtfully. Then he said, what kind of dragon beast is that? A level 35 iron-armored earth dragon. Huo Yuyan said in a deep voice, with a serious look on her beautiful face. Iron-clad earth dragon. Yi Shu was a little surprised. He had seen the introduction of this thing in the monster encyclopedia before. This thing is incredible. It has a body of scales that are extremely hard and can withstand the existence of super lasers head-on. Those scales are very precious materials. Although this guy has only a trace of dragon blood in his body, it can barely be considered a dragon beast. But, it is a dragon beast after all. The value of an iron-clad earth dragon can only be measured in billions. Moreover, this guy is very difficult to deal with. Generally, a level 40 combat profession dare not say that it can take down this monster. Logically speaking, the green zone is so close to the base city, so there shouldn't be dragon beasts. Yi Shu was a little confused. Dragon beast. Not to mention the green zone, even the blue zone is extremely rare. Only in the dangerous red zone will there be dragon beasts. That armored earth dragon was seriously injured and escaped to the green zone from somewhere else. Huo Yuyan said, before, I was tracking the dragon beast and provoked the rhino monster. Seriously injured. Yi Shu's heart moved. If it was in a normal state, an armored earth dragon stood there for Yi Shu to hit, and he couldn't break the defense. Even, the attack might not be as fast as the armored earth dragon's recovery. Even the skeleton knight with the defense-breaking attribute can't do it, the armored earth dragon's defense is too high. But, if it is a seriously injured armored earth dragon, it's hard to say. It must have broken its scales, in that case, maybe there is a chance. Can you move now? Finally, Yi Shu looked at Huo Yuyan and said. Huo Yuyan took a deep breath and tried to stand up. Finally, she fell to the ground weakly. She was pale and shook her head gently. No, I was attacked by a rhino monster before. I was hit on the back, 2 ribs were broken, and my internal organs were injured. Yi Shu looked at her. You can't fight the dragon beast like this. Huo Yuyan gritted her teeth and said, how about we go back to the base city first and come back in a few days? Yi Shu shook his head. The recovery ability of the armored earth dragon is very abnormal. After all, this guy has a trace of dragon blood. It may be seriously injured today, but it may recover tomorrow. If you want to deal with it, you must kill it while it is sick. Once it recovers, let alone the 2 of us. Even if a well-equipped high-level hunter team of level 30 comes, it may not be able to take it down, unless we can invite the principal, but it is obviously impossible. The most important thing is that once the whereabouts of the ironclad earth dragon are exposed, we will have no chance at all, and countless hunter teams will flock to us. Ding. System task released. Kill the ironclad earth dragon. Task reward. Complete the task, and you can smash all the golden eggs currently held by the host. At this moment, a voice came from Yi Shu's mind. The system actually released the task again at this time. Yi Shu was stunned. Kill the ironclad earth dragon. Can you smash all the golden eggs? Yi Shu's heart couldn't help but beat violently. This is a pretty good reward, he doesn't want to miss such a good opportunity. The most important thing is that the 2-star golden egg is still waiting for him to smash. Yi Shu is looking forward to that golden egg. With this thought, Yi Shu looked at Huo Yuyan and said, if we want to kill this armored earth dragon, we must act tonight. But Huo Yuyan looked at Yi Shu with a pale face. Yi Shu pondered for a moment, and finally took out a bottle of potion from his package space, handed it to Huo Yuyan, and said, drink it. Yes, this is the potion that Yi Shu got from smashing the golden egg. You can't catch a wolf without sacrificing a child, and Yi Shu has invested a lot of money. If I want to kill the armored earth dragon, I still need Huo Yuyan's help. Huo Yuyan in this state can't do it, so I can only let her recover. What is this? Huo Yuyan was a little confused. Although Yi Shu felt pain, he still said to Huo Yuyan directly, this is a recovery potion. Drink it and your injury will heal quickly. But my injury cannot be solved by ordinary recovery potions. My ribs and internal organs are injured and need time to recover. Try this one. Yi Shu smiled and said, this one is not an ordinary recovery potion. Maybe it can help you recover quickly. Huo Yuyan looked at the potion in her hand, then looked up at Yi Shu. Yi Shu looked at her calmly, and finally she gritted her teeth, opened the bottle cap, smelled it, and drank it directly. She chose to believe Yi Shu. She actually had some understanding of Yi Shu's character. Yi Shu was not the kind of person who took advantage of others, let alone the kind of person who would give girls that kind of drug. If Yi Shu wanted to do something bad to her, he would have succeeded that time in the martial arts hall, and he wouldn't have to wait until now. She knew this very well. So, she would feel at ease to drink the potion Yi Shu gave her. The moment she drank the potion, Huo Yuyan felt a strong sense of heat all over her body. Finally, she actually had a strange feeling. She looked up at Yi Shu. Did she see the wrong person? Did Yi Shu really drug her? No. Soon, Huo Yuyan rejected this view, because she found that her blood and qi were recovering rapidly. Even a deep wound on her arm was slowly healing. Watching her condition gradually recover, Huo Yuyan was surprised. At this time, she realized that she had some mean thoughts. What Yi Shu gave her was indeed a recovery potion. It was not that kind of medicine. And it was a very high-quality recovery potion. Such a good recovery potion, Yi Shu actually gave it to her as soon as he said it. Under the night sky, Yi Shu and Huo Yuyan, who had fully recovered, kept running. They were looking for the whereabouts of the armored earth dragon. According to Huo Yuyan, the seriously injured dragon beast and the armored earth dragon were in a canyon. Through a simple understanding, Yi Shu knew that Huo Yuyan had awakened a rare profession, crazy swordsman. A very sharp profession. When she first awakened, she had 4 skills. As for why she was not recruited, but was hunting alone in the wilderness, Yi Shu didn't know. Huo Yuyan knew about Yi Shu's profession. As for the Death Chanter, who in the entire 9th War God High School didn't know. But what she didn't know was how strong Yi Shu's profession was. Yi Shu didn't mean to show off, and simply showed the Withered Bone Swordman and the Skeleton Knight. When Huo Yuyan saw these 2 summons, she was really shocked. Because the strength of these 2 summons, especially the Skeleton Knight, is very outrageous, and it is completely the attribute strength of the Silver Leader level. Looking at a group of skeleton summons surrounding Yi Shu, Huo Yuyan couldn't help but glance at Yi Shu. Is the Death Chanter a useless profession? This is probably the biggest joke of the year. The 2 moved carefully in the dark. Any monster that doesn't have eyes will be ruthlessly swept by the Skeleton Knight. 3 silver level leaders can still run rampant in this green zone, not to mention that there are 10 bone sword soldiers. As long as there is no beast tide, there is basically no problem. Soon, under the leadership of Huo Yuyan, Yi Shu found the canyon she said. This is a dilapidated canyon. A long time ago, this place was probably a mine, but it has been abandoned for who knows how many years. In the middle of this canyon, a huge monster was lying there. Yi Shu and Huo Yuyan carefully climbed to a commanding height to watch. Through a high-power telescope, Yi Shu saw the iron-armored earth dragon. From a distance, that guy looked like a giant beast from ancient times, an ankylosaur. Even if it lies there, it is still 5 or 6 meters tall and more than 10 meters long. It is covered with a thick layer of black scales. This guy is exactly the same as the iron-armored earth dragon in the illustration. After careful observation by Yi Shu, he found that there was a long scar on the neck of the iron-armored earth dragon. It seemed to have been torn apart by something. At this moment, its scar has not healed yet, and blood is constantly oozing out of the wound. A real iron-armored earth dragon. Yi Shu licked his dry lips. If he said he was not excited, it would be fake. How is it? Huo Yuyan whispered beside Yi Shu. I didn't lie to you, did I? Yi Shu nodded. If we can take it down, we will be rich. Such an armored earth dragon is worth at least hundreds of millions. Huo Yuyan looked at Yi Shu, pondered for a moment, and said, Yi Shu. If we can get rid of this armored earth dragon, the rest will be yours, I only want the dragon blood in its body, okay? Dragon blood. Yi Shu was a little confused. The biggest function of dragon blood is to make potions. He knew this very well. Dragon blood potion can be said to be the most precious potion in the world. Top-level dragon blood potion can treat almost all injuries. The dragon is the most powerful creature in the world. It is a treasure. Its blood can treat almost all diseases. It even has the ability to regenerate broken limbs. Yi Shu's biggest goal now is to get the top-level dragon blood potion. He wants his grandfather to stand up again. To make top-grade dragon blood potion, you need very pure dragon blood. Although the iron-armored earth dragon is a dragon beast. However, the dragon blood contained in the iron-armored earth dragon is not good enough to make top-grade dragon blood potion. The dragon blood of the iron-armored earth dragon is too thin, and it may be okay to treat some stubborn diseases. It is impossible to make dragon blood potion for regenerating broken limbs with the dragon blood of the iron-armored earth dragon. Okay, finally, Yi Shu made a decision. The dragon blood of the iron-armored earth dragon cannot cure Grandpa, so it is not that useful to him. If they are all for money, it doesn't matter if they give it to Huo Yuyan. He can take the dragon corpse of the iron-armored earth dragon. Thank you. After hearing Yi Shu's answer, Huo Yuyan pursed her lips and said softly. Yi Shu held the telescope in his hand and looked at the armored earth dragon, but he didn't care. Huo Yuyan thought Yi Shu would bargain, but unexpectedly, Yi Shu actually agreed directly. You know, the most precious thing on the dragon beast, besides the dragon bones, is the dragon blood. Yi Shu was willing to give her the dragon blood, which was already a big concession. After all, the action of killing the armored earth dragon was still led by Yi Shu. Huo Yuyan knew very well that she couldn't take down the armored earth dragon at all, even if it was seriously injured. But, how could she know that Yi Shu had the perverted skill, death ingestion? Yi Shu was still looking forward to the corpse of the armored earth dragon. What kind of good things would be produced? What should we do? Seeing Yi Shu put down the telescope, Huo Yuyan asked. Yi Shu narrowed his eyes and said, let my withered bone knives and skeleton knights attack first, and try this guy's current combat power. Huo Yuyan nodded and said nothing. Ka ka ka. Under Yi Shu's command, 3 skeleton knights and 10 skeleton sabers began to move, quickly approaching the armored earth dragon. Roar. Sensing that something was approaching, the armored earth dragon lying on the ground raised its huge head and roared, warning the thing approaching it. If it were an ordinary monster, it would definitely be scared away by such a roar. In this green zone, no one dared to confront the armored earth dragon head-on. It is a dragon beast, a giant beast with dragon bloodline. Even if it is only the lowest level dragon beast, it can sweep across the green zone. It can be the king in the green zone. But the skeleton knights and skeleton sabers don't care so much. They only obey Yi Shu. When Yi Shu asked them to charge, they didn't hesitate at all. They are not afraid of death. Wherever Yi Shu's will goes, they dare to charge. Trample, trample. The skeleton knights rode on tall white bone war horses, leading the way, and they were very fast. Crack. After rapidly approaching the armored earth dragon, they rushed forward and attacked the huge armored earth dragon without hesitation. Dang. But, the bone spear of the skeleton knight pierced the armored earth dragon, just like hitting a steel plate, and the armored earth dragon did not move at all. Roar. The charge of the skeleton knight made the armored earth dragon angry. It raised its big claws and swept the skeleton knight away. Ka ka ka. The withered knife soldier also rushed over at this time, and pounced directly on it, attacking the armored earth dragon from all directions. Dang dang dang. The steel knife in the hand of the withered knife soldier kept slashing at the armored earth dragon. But, the scales of the armored earth dragon were too hard. No matter how they attacked, they could not break through the defense. What a strong defense. The armored earth dragon is indeed a monster famous for its defense. Not to mention the withered knife soldier, even the skeleton knight can't hurt it at all. Yi Shu saw it all very clearly through the telescope. Don't attack blindly, attack the wound on its neck. Yi Shu's heart moved and he issued a command. Swish. Although the distance was several hundred meters, the skeleton knight still received Yi Shu's will. The skeleton knights climbed up from the ground one after another. Kacha. A skeleton knight rushed towards the ironclad earth dragon. Roar. The ironclad earth dragon roared, and its huge claws swept across, forcing the skeleton knight back with a slap. Swish! Immediately afterwards, another skeleton knight rushed up from the other side and hit it in the eyes. Dang! The ironclad earth dragon tilted its head, and the bone spear hit its head. As the ironclad earth dragon's head suddenly rose, it directly knocked the skeleton knight away. Then, the withered bone sword soldier rushed up and directly entangled it. Opportunity. Swoosh! The last skeleton knight instantly launched a charge, at an extremely fast speed, and the bone spear in his hand directly pierced the exposed neck of the armored earth dragon. Crack! The bone spear penetrated 3 inches into the flesh. Roar! The armored earth dragon felt pain, shook its head, and threw the skeleton knight out directly. It was completely angry. Buzz! Then, this guy opened his mouth and condensed a ball of red energy in his mouth. Not good. Yi Shu opened his eyes wide, its hot breath. Boom! The next moment, as the armored earth dragon spit out a mouthful, this ball of red energy burst out, like a huge laser sweeping across. With one blow, 10 bone knives were completely killed, and even the skeleton knight was scattered all over the ground. Yi Shu put down the telescope. His little brothers were completely wiped out. The ironclad earth dragon is indeed a dragon beast. It cannot be defeated by a few low-level summons, even if it is seriously injured. This, Huo Yuyan, who was beside Yi Shu and saw all this, was surprised and said, "The ironclad earth dragon is a dragon beast after all. Even if it is seriously injured, it is still so strong. We can't fight it." Yi Shu looked at the ironclad earth dragon in the canyon that killed a group of his brothers and roared to the sky. After a moment of silence, Yi Shu said, "That's right, but it is still injured after all. This is an opportunity. The wound on its neck is its weakness." Huo Yuyan looked at Yi Shu and finally said helplessly, "This ironclad earth dragon is too strong. We can't do anything to it. Otherwise, let's find a way to contact other people." "Hey," Yi Shu smiled and said, "how can we know if we don't try it? If there are too many people, the benefits we can share will be less. Unless it is absolutely necessary, we don't need to rely on others." Huo Yuyan looked at Yi Shu, surprised and said, "You still want to go? Didn't your summons get killed?" Yi Shu stared at the huge armored earth dragon and said in a deep voice, "My ability is not just summoning. This guy, the most dangerous means of attack is heat breath. This attack is equally deadly to us. But, as far as I know, although the armored earth dragon can use heat breath, the cooling time is very long. It can't use the second heat breath within an hour, and this is still in normal state. Now it is injured, and it is impossible to fire the second shot within an hour." Huo Yuyan looked at Yi Shu. You don't want to do it yourself, right?" Yi Shu nodded. "Yes. But, Huo Yuyan just opened her mouth. In front of her, Yi Shu was suddenly covered with black mist. Caw caw caw. A moment later, Yi Shu was wearing a sharp bone armor, holding a sharp bone sword in his hand. "What are you doing?" Huo Yuyan opened her eyes wide and looked at Yi Shu in disbelief. Yi Shu smiled and said, "It's just a melee attack, no need to make a fuss. This time, I'll go in person. We have to make a quick decision while its heat is cooling down." Huo Yuyan took a deep breath and calmed down. Looking at Yi Shu, she drew her sword and said, "I'll go with you." "Okay, let's take this guy down together." After Yi Shu finished speaking, he jumped off the platform and approached the canyon. Huo Yuyan followed closely behind. Roar, roar, roar. Soon, the iron-armored earth dragon discovered Yi Shu and the other two approaching it. The iron-armored earth dragon roared, the might of a king emanating from its body, and stepped on the ground with its feet, slowly walking towards Yi Shu and the other two. As a dragon beast, it has its pride. It was provoked again and again, and it got angry. Even if it was injured, it still exuded a terrifying might. Yi Shu stared at the iron-armored earth dragon. As he got closer, he could more clearly feel the extraordinary might of this dragon beast at a close distance. In front of this huge dragon beast, Yi Shu was like an ant. Yi Shu's hand holding the bone sword trembled slightly, and it would be a lie to say that he was not afraid. In fact, if he gave up now and turned around and ran away, he was confident that he could run. After all, this iron-armored earth dragon was seriously injured. But he was unwilling to give up. No matter what, he had to try. As the iron-armored Earth Dragon slowly approached, Yishu finally obtained a small amount of data about this iron-armored Earth Dragon. Iron-armored Earth Dragon. Dragon species. Level. Strength. Agility. Spirit. Introduction. Iron-armored Earth Dragon, a giant beast with a trace of dragon bloodline, is very powerful, especially in defense. Even a being 10 levels higher than it may not be able to break its defense. Although this guy is full of treasures, it is best not to provoke it if you don't have enough strength. Basically there is no useful information, Yishu said inwardly, which means that this guy's level is much higher than him. Roar. The iron-armored Earth Dragon roared, with a pair of bloodshot eyes, staring at Yishu closely. Boom boom. Suddenly, it stepped on all 4 hooves, stomped on the ground and rushed over, at an extremely fast speed. Go. Yishu called out to Huo Yuyan. Seeing that the armored Earth Dragon was about to attack. Take the initiative. With a thought in his mind, the bone sword in his hand was already emitting a sharp energy. Prison. Purgatory slash. Boom. The powerful sword energy swept across. Dang. The sword energy chopped the armored Earth Dragon, and it was unharmed. Prison. Impact slash. In an instant, Yishu turned into a stream of light and flew past the armored Earth Dragon, and stabbed at the armored Earth Dragon. Puff. With a sword, it accurately pierced into the neck of the armored Earth Dragon. Although the bone sword penetrated the flesh, it could not pose a fatal threat to it. With a swing of its huge head, Yishu was thrown out directly. The defense is so high, Yishu said in his heart, even if the weak position is attacked, it is still difficult to cause fatal injuries to it. Roar. The next moment, the armored Earth Dragon raised its big claws and slapped Yishu in the air. Boom. The attack was completed in a flash, hitting Yishu instantly, and a tearing pain suddenly came from his chest. The next moment, he was slammed into the ground heavily. If it weren't for the amazing defense of the bone armor, Yishu's ribs would have been broken by this attack. Even so, the severe pain spread throughout his body and made him grimace in pain. Ha! At this moment, with a delicate shout, Huo Yuyan also launched an attack. She was seen emitting a layer of light all over her body, protecting her. Huo Yuyan was very fierce and her figure was very flexible. Her melee ability was not weaker than Yishu. With her powerful profession, she actually fought back and forth with the iron-armored Earth Dragon in a short period of time. Ha! But the level suppression still exists, and it is the level suppression of the Dragon Beast. In less than 3 minutes, Huo Yuyan was knocked away. Bang! Huo Yuyan was knocked away by the armored Earth Dragon and rolled on the ground for several rounds before she stopped. She got up from the ground in a slightly embarrassed manner and spat out a mouthful of blood. At this moment, Yishu also got up from the ground. He wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth and stared at the armored Earth Dragon. Roar! The armored Earth Dragon roared, as if mocking the weakness of Yishu and the others. Swish! Shrouded in black fog, Yishu directly lifted the melee state. He knew that he could not do anything to this armored Earth Dragon with melee combat. Bang! As soon as he resumed his long-range form, Yishu raised his hand and threw out a burst fireball. The fireball exploded. A cloud of dust was raised. Crack, crack. As the magic circle opened, one skeleton knight after another rushed out on their horses, roaring. Then came the bone sword soldiers. Go! Yishu waved his hand. The bone sword soldiers and skeleton knights rushed forward again. This won't work. Huo Yuyan came over to Yishu's side and said, your summon is no match for it. We can't beat it with our strength. Let's retreat. Hey! Yishu smiled, staring at the skeleton knights and bone sword soldiers fighting with the armored Earth Dragon, then looked up in one direction and said, don't worry, it's almost over. What? Huo Yuyan was stunned for a moment. She followed Yishu's gaze, and then she suddenly realized. Then, Huo Yuyan's pupils shrank and said, are you going to crush it to death with that pile of scrap metal? That's right, Yishu was intentionally guiding the armored Earth Dragon towards a cave. Above the cave, there were mining tools that had been abandoned for who knows how many years. The huge machine had long become a pile of scrap metal, piled above the cave. Yishu stared at the armored Earth Dragon and said, I did so much, even going out in person, just to prevent it from being suspicious, making it swell up, and thinking that we are ants that can be crushed at any time. In this way, it will let down its guard and attack without hesitation. Huo Yuyan stared at Yi Shu deeply. I'm afraid that when Yi Shu first came to the canyon, he had already surveyed the terrain and found the huge pile of scrap metal. This was not a sudden idea, but a premeditated one. He planned to do this from the beginning. Before, even she didn't notice it at all, she really thought Yi Shu was going to fight the armored earth dragon. This kind of thought, Huo Yuyan was horrified. As the bone knives fell one after another, under the continuous attack of the skeleton knight, the armored earth dragon was completely furious. It roared and crushed over, slapping one at a time. Soon, it killed several bone sword soldiers. It even killed a skeleton knight. This seemed to have found a way to vent its anger, and it chased the skeleton knight madly. Now, Yi Shu suddenly moved. After wasting a lot of effort, he finally led it over to the best position. Yi Shu stood up suddenly. Boom! In his palm, a fireball condensed, raised his hand and threw it towards the cave. Boom! With an explosion, the cave collapsed, and countless flying iron blocks and steel fell from it. Roar! With an unwilling roar, in just a moment, countless scrap metals completely buried the ironclad earth dragon. Hey! Yi Shu grinned and said, fortunately, this guy is not smart enough. If it ignored my little brother and rushed to kill me directly, I really would be helpless. This time, buried by tens of thousands of tons of scrap metal, even the ironclad earth dragon can't stand it. Beside Yi Shu, Huo Yuyan put away the long sword and looked at Yi Shu deeply. Soon, as a stream of experience points came, Yi Shu knew that the armored earth dragon was dead. Swish! A large amount of armored earth dragon experience points were integrated. Yi Shu actually upgraded continuously and reached the height of level 12. The experience points of this armored earth dragon are really rich. Hey, Yi Shu smiled. Done. Even if the armored earth dragon with super strong defense was hit by tens of thousands of tons of scrap metal, the only outcome would be death. Besides, it was seriously injured and it was even more impossible to resist. Congratulations to the host. Complete the task, kill the armored earth dragon, and get the reward. Smash all the golden eggs you have. The use time limit, 48 hours. At this moment, a voice came from Yi Shu's mind. Yi Shu secretly breathed a sigh of relief. Fortunately, the task was completed. However, he did not smash the golden eggs immediately. He had to wait for the golden eggs to refresh. Anyway, the upgraded golden eggs will not refresh, and the 2-star golden egg will always be there, so he is not worried. Besides, several 1-star golden eggs have been consumed today, and his chance to smash the eggs is to smash all the golden eggs he has. In that case, it is not worth it to smash them today. There are 48 hours to smash the golden eggs, which is enough. It is better to wait until the golden eggs are completely refreshed tomorrow before smashing them. The opportunity to smash the eggs must be maximized. And what surprised Yi Shu the most was not this, but after continuous upgrades, he got 2 new skills. Death Commander LV1 consume 10 mental power to summon the Death Commander to fight for you. When the Death Commander survives, all attributes of your other undead summons are increased by 20%. Only one Death Commander can exist at a time. Devil's Hand LV1 consume 5 mental power to summon the Demon's Hand to attack the target area, causing huge magic damage. Tisk tisk, what a sharp skill. Looking at the 2 new skills, Yi Shu was very excited. All these are proof of his improved strength. With each additional skill, his ability will be upgraded to a higher level. This is still pretty good. Just when Yi Shu was thinking secretly, Huo Yuyan looked at Yi Shu deeply, and finally said, the body of the iron-armored earth dragon is buried under the scrap metal. How to get it out? Yi Shu put away his thoughts and his face returned to normal. After listening to Huo Yuyan's words, he touched his chin, looked at the pile of tens of thousands of tons of scrap metal, and said, the usual method will definitely not work. Maybe, I can try to blow it up. Blow it up? Where can we find an explosion? Huo Yuyan was puzzled, then reacted and looked at Yi Shu. By the way, you seem to have a skill that can create an explosion. But, can it work? Yi Shu looked at the pile of scrap metal and said, it works or not, we will know if we try it. Do we have to move it bit by bit? Tens of thousands of tons of scrap metal, we can't move it even if we move it for a month. Huo Yuyan had no choice but to say, okay, listen to you. Yi Shu smiled. Just listen to me. After that, he looked at Huo Yuyan. Let's find a shelter to hide, so as not to be hurt by the explosion later. Yes. Huo Yuyan nodded. She knew that so much scrap metal would produce countless stray arrows after the explosion. Soon, they found a shelter in the canyon. After everything was ready, Yi Shu directly condensed a fireball. Then he raised his hand and threw it on the scrap metal pile. Boom! With a huge explosion, a cloud of dust and a large amount of broken iron pieces were raised. Bang bang bang! Countless broken iron pieces shot out and hit the surrounding rock walls, breaking the rocks and causing stone chips on the mountain walls to fall off. Fortunately, Yi Shu and his team found a shelter in advance, otherwise, they would definitely be shot into sieves by stray arrows in broad daylight. Hoo. After a while, when the smoke and dust cleared, Yi Shu looked up. Sure enough, a hole was blown open in the huge scrap pile. It works. Do it again. Since it works, Yi Shu will not stop, and another fireball condenses in his palm. Boom, boom. Yi Shu kept throwing fireballs out as if they were free. Under Yi Shu's repeated bombings, the scrap pile was finally completely blown open. Looking at the armored earth dragon that had exposed part of its body, Yi Shu nodded. Done, we can collect materials for the armored earth dragon. Huo Yuyan breathed a sigh of relief, it was finally done. Soon, they each completed the collection. First, Huo Yuyan used a special tool to collect a bottle of fiery red dragon blood from this armored earth dragon. This was extracted by her using the tool to extract the blood of the armored earth dragon. Although this bottle of dragon blood is still very mixed. However, it is completely fine to use it to treat certain injuries. If this is auctioned, it will definitely be worth a lot of money. I don't know how many terminally ill rich people want to get some dragon blood. In their eyes, money is no longer important. Huo Yuyan held the bottle of dragon blood and carefully put it away. Then it was Yi Shu. He first peeled off the dragon scales. These were all precious materials that could not be let go. Then, while Huo Yuyan was not paying attention, Yi Shu used death ingestion on the dragon corpse. This time, Yi Shu condensed a palm-sized piece of fiery red bone with metallic light on the corpse of the armored earth dragon. He did not examine the bone carefully, but quietly threw it into the portable storage space. It's not that he doesn't trust Huo Yuyan, some things are better not to be exposed. Yi Shu doesn't want others to know the true ability of death ingestion. After that, Yi Shu and the others found a place to rest for a night. Early the next morning, Huo Yuyan was ready to return to the base city. She came here for the dragon blood. Now that her goal has been achieved, there is no point for her to stay. Yi Shu did not plan to go back. He has mastered so many skills now. After reaching level 12, he wants to train all his skills to level 2. As we all know, the growth of skills is related to one's own level. Below level 10, the skill cap can only be level 1. Only when one's own level is above level 10 can one improve the skill level by practicing proficiency. And the higher the skill level, the stronger the skill. Since one's own level has reached level 12, Yi Shu plans to train all his skills to level 2 before going back. In this way, he will have absolute confidence in the upcoming exam. After seeing off Huo Yuyan, Yi Shu turned around and continued to walk towards the depths of the green zone. In a hidden building, at this moment, Yi Shu is hiding inside. He smashed all 5 ordinary golden eggs in one breath. Congratulations to the host, smash a 1-star golden egg and get a reward skill book flash. Congratulations to the host, smash a 1-star golden egg and get a reward of 1-star spirit potion. Congratulations to the host, smash a 1-star golden egg and get a reward of 1-star strength potion. Congratulations to the host, smash a 1-star golden egg and get a reward skill book defense shield. Congratulations to the host, smash a 1-star golden egg and get a reward, equipment, awakening chain. 5 consecutive 1-star golden eggs were smashed, giving 5 things. Skill, flash, instantly move to any position within 1 to 20 meters within the range of the self. After drinking the 1-star spirit potion and strength potion, permanently increase 10 points of spirit and 10 points of strength. Skill, defense shield, open the shield to protect yourself. Equipment, awakening chain, bronze. Strength, +5. Spirit, +10. Additional. Awakening, the wearer's negative effects are reduced by 30%. In general, these rewards are very good. After getting so many good things, Yishu did not hesitate and used them directly. After drinking Spirit Potion and Strength Potion, his spirit and strength are directly permanently increased by 10. Flash and Defense Shield are both very good skills, learn them. Awakening Chain, needless to say, it is a great piece of equipment. Yishu put it on and hung it around his neck. This time, Yishu's overall strength was improved again. Check his attributes again. Name, Yishu. Occupation, Death Chanter. Title, Warrior Apprentice, not yet completed the first transformation. Level, 12. Strength, 245. Agility, 215. Spirit, 345. Skill, Death Ingestion LV1, no consumption, no cooldown, search for corpses, find useful items. Skill, Explosive Fireball LV1, consume 1 mental power, condense a fireball, attack your target, and the fireball will explode after landing, causing explosion damage. Skill, Bone Soldier LV1, consume 1 mental power, summon up to 10 bone soldiers to fight for you. Skill, Requiem LV1, consume 10 mental power, lock all hostile targets within a kilometer around you, and cause a magic attack. Skills, Skeleton Knight LV1, consume 5 mental power, summon a skeleton knight to fight for you, you can only summon up to 3 skeleton knights. Death Commander LV1, consume 10 mental power, summon the Death Commander to fight for you. When the Death Commander is alive, all attributes of your other undead summons will be increased by 20%, only one Death Commander can exist at a time. Devil's Hand LV1, consume 5 mental power, summon the Demon's Hand to attack the target area, causing huge magic damage. Flash LV1, consume 1 mental power, instantly flash to any position within 20 meters of your range. Defense Shield LV1, consume 1 mental power, condense a shield to protect yourself. Skill, Purgatory Slash LV1, no consumption, condense the power of Purgatory in your weapon, and send out a sword energy to attack your target unusable. Skill, Prison, Combo LV1, no consumption, instantly burst out 3 combos at super fast speed, each combo causes 120% damage unusable. Skill, Prison, Impact Slash LV1, no consumption, rush to the target at super fast speed, and launch a weak point slash on the target unusable. After looking at his current attributes, Yishu couldn't help but nod secretly. This attribute can be said to be quite powerful. The attributes of the Death Chanter are far higher than those of other professions. At least, in Yishu's cognition, no other profession's growth can be compared with that of the Death Chanter. Swish, Yishu raised his hand and directly activated the skill Death Commander. Buzz, as the magic circle opened. Crack, a huge figure slowly walked out of the magic circle. It was a skeleton warrior wearing black armor, more than 3 meters tall. On it, the body not covered by the armor was covered with bones. It carried a huge red broadsword, wore a helmet like a bull's horn, and its eyes emitted a terrifying red light. It was wearing a black cloak and looked majestic. When it walked out of the magic circle step by step, not far from Yishu. Whether it was the skeleton knight or the withered bone sword soldier, they were all terrified, staring at the huge Death Commander, motionless. Swish. The next moment, a red light flashed on their bodies, and their overall attributes were greatly improved. Gotcha. Even the skeleton knight turned over and dismounted. Although they were very obedient, they had never dismounted in front of Yishu. Before, Yishu thought they could not dismount. Tisk tisk. Looking at the huge Death Commander in front of him, Yishu could not help but smack his lips. Apart from anything else, this appearance was amazing. Too domineering. Then, Yishu checked its attributes. Death Commander LV1. Summoned Creature. Strength, 350. Agility, 200. Spirit, 180. Endurance, 200. Skill, Commander Aura. When the Death Commander is alive, the attributes of all other undead summoned creatures are increased by 20%. Whirlwind Slash. The Death Commander turns into a whirlwind blade, sweeping the target in front with a spiral attack. The Whirlwind Slash ignores the target's 15% defense. Purgatory Flame. The Death Commander summons the Purgatory Flame to burn the target area. Eye of Death. When the Death Lord stares at its target, if its mental power is lower than that of its target, it will die. If its mental power is higher than that of its target, it will be stunned for 60 seconds. After reading the attributes of the Death Lord, Yishu was stunned. This attribute is simply awesome, isn't it? It lives up to its title, the Death Lord. At only level 1, it has this ability, which is not much weaker than the current Yishu's attributes. Moreover, this guy's skills are also quite sharp. There are 4 skills at level 1. This Death Lord himself can be compared to a hidden profession. Looking at the tall Death Lord in front of him, Yishu was very excited. This guy will definitely be a great help to him in the future. Finally, on Yishu's system page, there is still one 2-star golden egg left today. He deliberately didn't crack this egg, just to crack it at the end. This is what Yishu is looking forward to the most. This is the first time he has gotten a 2-star golden egg since he got the system. Looking at this golden egg, Yishu rubbed his hands. 2-star golden egg. I hope it can give me something good. After praying, Yishu looked at the 2-star golden egg on the system page, took a deep breath, and smashed it directly. Crack. As the golden egg broke, there was actually an egg inside, a dark blue egg, with densely packed lines that were incomprehensible. That's right, the system golden egg. What was smashed out was still an egg, but it was a circle smaller than the system golden egg. This is. Congratulations to the host, you smashed a 2-star golden egg and got a reward pet egg. At this moment, the system prompt sounded. Yishu's heart moved. Pet eggs. In this world, there is such a thing as pets. Every combat profession, when awakened, will also obtain a pet space and a mount space, which is unique to the combat profession. Other professions do not have it. Having said that, but it is actually very difficult to obtain pets, quite difficult. A combat profession wants to get a pet. In addition to catching and taming a level 1 monster in the wild, there is also a pet egg. But, not every wild monster can be tamed, most level 1 monsters are untamable. There are actually very few monsters that can be tamed, and there may not be a tameable monster among 10,000 level 1 monsters. And when taming monsters, there are certain dangers. If you are not careful, you may be killed by the monster's mental power rebound. As for pet eggs, not every monster egg can be used as a pet egg. Those that can become pet eggs are all very powerful monster eggs. So, pet eggs are actually very difficult to obtain. Generally, powerful pet eggs will be guarded by powerful monsters. Ordinary people can't get them at all, even if they attack with tyrannical force. When it comes to the point of no return, the monster guarding the pet egg would rather eat the egg itself than let humans get it. So, although there are many combat professions, there are actually very few people who own pets. Especially powerful pets, there are even fewer. Compared to pets, the way to obtain mounts is much simpler. There are also many mounts kept in captivity by humans. Looking at the casserole-sized pet egg in his hand, Yishu tried to read the information of this egg. Pet egg. Level. A. Species. Unknown. After a moment of hesitation, Yishu thought that it would be good to hatch it with blood dripping. No matter what, this is given to him by the system, so it shouldn't be too bad. Anyway, he has no way to get a pet now, so in that case, he might as well hatch this egg and see. Do it when you think of it. Yishu bit his finger and squeezed out a stream of blood, which dripped onto the blue egg. Tattoo. As Yishu's blood dripped onto the egg. Crack. After a while, the egg began to break. Crack. Finally, the egg broke completely, and a fist-sized blue hamster appeared inside, with faint purple spots on its body. Zzz. There was a flash of lightning on the little hamster. The little guy is cute, but it seems to have no fighting power. Zzz. After the blue hamster broke out of its shell, it saw Yishu at first sight. After that, it cried happily and rubbed Yishu's palm affectionately. Because it was hatched with his own blood, there was a blood connection between them. Yishu could clearly feel the little guy's mood, and it seemed very happy. A hamster. Good guy. Yishu was a little amused. Then, Yishu checked the little guy's attributes. Thunder Beast. Level. 0. Strength. 50 growth. Agility. 100 growth. Spirit. 200 growth. Endurance. 50 growth. Skills. Thunder Spear. Condensed a thunder spear to attack the target, causing magic damage after hitting the target. Thunder. Summon thunder to attack the target area, causing magic damage. Thunder Spirit. Thunder Beast, as the favorite of thunder and lightning, immune to any thunder and lightning attacks. Thunder Sea. Summon a Thunder Sea, which can not only cause damage but also paralyze the target. After reading the attributes of the little thing, Yishu couldn't help but burst out a swear word. Looking at this palm-sized little guy in his palm, Yishu was honestly a little surprised. 4 skills, 3 attack skills, and they look very cool. There is also a defense skill, which is completely immune to thunder and lightning damage, which is very good. This little thing seems to be very sharp. Thunder Beast. This ferocious monster that is almost never seen in the wild. Unexpectedly, Yishu's 2-star golden egg actually exploded a Thunder Beast. His luck was not bad. Yishu looked at a group of wild boars foraging in the distance. Yishu pointed at the group of wild boars and said, "Little guy, go and show me what you can do." Squeak. The little Thunder Beast looked up at Yishu and seemed to understand what Yishu said. Hoo-hoo. The next moment, the little guy actually spread a pair of small wings behind his back and flew up. "Can you fly?" Yishu was a little stunned. It looked at the wild boars in the distance and opened its mouth. Zzz. In its small mouth, a small thunder gun condensed. As it spit out suddenly, zzz, the thunder gun shot out, and the small thunder gun swelled up in the wind. After a moment, it turned into a bull-thick, 5 or 6 meter long thunder gun. Caw! The thunder gun shot past, and in just a moment, it pierced through several wild boars that were digging around everywhere. Zzz. The powerful thunder and lightning power spread, and several wild boars were electrocuted to death in an instant. Tisk tisk, this attack is awesome. Yishu smiled, the system really didn't trick him. This little guy is really awesome. It's only level 0, but it can kill a group of level 5 or 6 wild boars in seconds. With its sharp growth, it has a promising future. If it is well trained, it will definitely be a great fighting force in the future. The little guy succeeded in one strike, and it seemed to consume a lot of energy. It fell down and landed on Yishu's shoulder, rubbing Yishu's neck affectionately. Yishu raised his hand and gently teased the little guy. Looking at the little guy, Yishu said, "Well, give you a name, since you are so good at lightning." Thinking of this, Yishu couldn't help but smile. "Let's call you Pikachu." Zzz. The little Thunder Beast was flashing with lightning, and it seemed to be very satisfied with the name. Today, the sky is gloomy. Boom. With a roar, several huge bison monsters fell. Yishu went forward to collect the materials on them, and then used Death Ingestion to refine them. Beside him, followed the powerful Death Lord, Skeleton Knight, and Skeleton Sword Soldier. There was also a blue hamster with wings flying around Yishu, that was Yishu's Thunder Beast, Pikachu. Although Yishu was only one person, he was stronger than a team. Counting the days, today is the 7th day since Yishu entered the wilderness. All his skills have been trained to level 2. The strength of all skills has more than doubled. His level has also reached level 14, and even his Thunder Beast, Pikachu, has reached level 10. The combat power of Pikachu is now very strong. It kills in batches. Now, Yishu's upgrade speed has completely slowed down. The later you go, the more experience you need to upgrade. Yishu killed a lot of monsters in the green zone, but his level has no tendency to increase. When he reached level 14, the experience required to upgrade was more than the experience required for all previous levels combined. Another 3 days passed. Today, the sky was gloomy and the wind was howling. And in an unknown abandoned town, there were monsters everywhere. Roar, bang, boom, bang. On the first floor of an abandoned supermarket, dozens of huge unicorn wild boars roared and besieged a human youth in the center. For a while, the roaring sound and the collapse sound kept shaking in this supermarket that had been abandoned for who knows how many years, and some shelves had been smashed to pieces. The unicorn wild boars were completely crazy and attacked crazily. And this human youth was wearing bone armor and holding a bone sword in one hand, looking majestic. He kept dealing with the group of unicorn wild boars, and his brisk figure was swaying quickly like a butterfly flying through flowers, and there were faintly a few blurred afterimages. In one word, fast. Yes, this young man is Yishu. He is training his melee ability. With the upgrade of Hell Walker to level 2, he got 2 melee skills again. Hell, Fire Beam Chain, summon the Fire Beam Chain to lock a target, imprison the target, and after a short delay, forcibly pull the target in front of you. Hell, Blood Demon Well, when you attack the target, you will accumulate blood energy. When this energy reaches 100%, you can release this skill to heal your own injuries and gain a 30% blood-sucking effect until you leave the battlefield. These 2 skills can be said to be quite powerful. Now, Yi Shu is constantly familiarizing himself with his melee skills and training his melee ability. Hell, Impact Slash. Yi Shu, who had been dodging, moved instantly. At this moment, there was a faint sound of thunder. Yi Shu's figure flashed by instantly. Each sword cut through the neck of the unicorn wild boar, with incredible accuracy. Amazing power. This is Yi Shu deliberately practicing close combat. In recent days, he has rarely let his younger brothers take action. When they take action, it is almost a sweep, which is of little significance to Yi Shu's own experience. Now, Yi Shu takes action himself to train his own close combat ability. Right now, he is fighting a large group of unicorn wild boars. These guys are all level 15 guys. Although there are many unicorns, only 2 or 3 can attack Yi Shu at the same time. Prison. Combo. Puff. In an instant, the heads of 2 unicorns flew up. The blood of the unicorns spurted out like tap water. In just a moment, dozens of unicorns died. On this day, Yi Shu finished a day of close combat training and cleaned up. He walked along the highway. This trip was successful, and he was ready to return to the base city. A hunter team was resting under the shade of a tree. One of them was resting with his eyes closed, and suddenly, he opened his eyes and heard a slight movement. He became alert and picked up his weapon. That was the sound of footsteps. Someone was coming. Sure enough, not long after, a figure came from a distance and just saw the people behind the tree, and then the figure turned around and looked over. The passers-by and these people looked at each other. Is it him? The man coming from afar was Yi Shu. Yi Shu originally thought he had run into an ordinary hunter team, and he didn't take it seriously. He had run into this before these days. But this time, it was different. Yi Shu looked at the group of people, and his heart trembled. He didn't know the others, but he recognized one of the young men. That man was the one who had harassed Chen Yanyi before. Yi Shu frowned. He was originally happy to go home early, but who would have thought that he would meet this guy? It's really a narrow road for enemies, and looking at his expression, it seems that he is his target. It's you, the young man shouted in a low voice, his eyes shining. Yi Shu, you finally showed up. It's really, after searching everywhere, it's easy to get it. Zhao Jinbo thinks about Yi Shu day and night. He gave up his rich life and came to the wilderness area just for Yi Shu, or it would be more appropriate to say that he would kill Yi Shu. But he didn't expect that after entering the wilderness area, he quickly lost the direction of Yi Shu. He sent people to guard the base city, knowing that Yi Shu did not leave. So, he did not leave either. These days, he followed the Spark Hunter team to search for Yi Shu's fate every day. In order to solve the potential threat of Yi Shu, he also risked his life. But, these days, Yi Shu seemed to have disappeared in the wilderness area. No matter how they searched, they could not find any trace of Yi Shu. Now, he suspected that Yi Shu was hanging in the green zone and wanted to give up. Unexpectedly, this Yi Shu actually appeared in front of them alone so strangely. Oh, you are that Yi Shu, it's really easy for us to find him. The person who first discovered Yi Shu also stood up and looked at Yi Shu indifferently. He is the captain of the Spark Hunter team, Wang Feng. His team was hired by Zhao Jinbo and searched in the wilderness area for so long just to find him and kill him. After all, the price offered by Zhao Jinbo was attractive enough. For this reason, they had been looking for so long and had not given up. Now Yi Shu came to the door himself. What else can be said about the result? Wang Feng looked at Yi Shu with a trace of pity. Yi Shu, there is no door to hell, you broke in by yourself. Zhao Jinbo stared at Yi Shu and said angrily. Ha ha, looking at these people, Yi Shu smiled. If he had run into them right after entering the wilderness area, he would have had no choice but to run away. But it's different now. With Yi Shu's current means, it wouldn't take much effort to deal with this team. Now, facing them, Yi Shu had no fear at all, and even had a little playfulness. What are you laughing at? Zhao Jinbo stood up and looked at Yi Shu. He didn't know why, but Yi Shu's current state made him very angry. Yi Shu was not as scared or begging for mercy as he imagined. He said coldly. Yi Shu narrowed his eyes, looked at Zhao Jinbo and the group of people behind him, and said, "You, and you guys." Yi Shu pointed at Zhao Jinbo, and then at Wang Feng and his teammates, and said, "Don't say I didn't give you a chance. Now, apologize to me and go back. Can I pretend that this didn't happen?" Ha ha ha. Zhao Jinbo laughed and looked at Yi Shu and said arrogantly, "Little fool, are you crazy? Apologize to you. Let us go. You, I tell you, you will die today. Even the gods can't save you." Zhao Jinbo looked at Yi Shu, his eyes full of hatred. Thinking of everything that happened between Yi Shu and Chen Yanyi that day, he wanted to kill Yi Shu as soon as possible. These days, he has suffered a lot in the wilderness area. When has he ever suffered such a hardship when he used to live a life of luxury? But when he thought about killing Yi Shu, he felt it was worth it. Ha! Wang Feng smiled faintly, not taking Yi Shu seriously at all. "Boy, we have no grudges. But you provoked someone you shouldn't have provoked, so you have to pay the price for it. Be a man in your next life, be more open-minded." After saying that, he waved his hand. Pa pa pa. The people around him immediately separated and surrounded Yi Shu. Among them, Sniper Li Dao raised the heavy sniper in his hand and aimed it directly at Yi Shu's head. As long as Wang Feng's order came, he would shoot. Assassin Chen Bo slowly hid his whereabouts, ready to give Yi Shu a fatal blow at any time. Knight Zhong Fan held the shield in his hand, staring at Yi Shu closely, preventing him from escaping, ready to hit with the shield at any time to knock Yi Shu unconscious. In the blink of an eye, they had completed the blockade of Yi Shu. Ha ha ha. Seeing this, Zhao Jinbo laughed wildly, and then looked at Yi Shu. "Where is your arrogance before? Aren't you very proud? Aren't you going to snatch a woman from me?" As he said, he took out a knife, looked at Yi Shu and said morbidly, "I will cut your flesh inch by inch, Chen Yanyi, only I can do it, you can't. You are not worthy. Hee hee, this time when I go back, I will find a way to get her." Looking at Zhao Jinbo's determined look, Yi Shu shook his head. Then he said, "In this way, you will die for a good cause, and I will not have any psychological barriers. You are still stubborn now." Zhao Jinbo looked at Yi Shu viciously, licked his lips, and said, "Don't worry, I will take your head back and give it to your disabled grandfather. You won't be lonely. I will send him to see you at that time. This is the end of provoking me." Yi Shu's face darkened, and he raised his hand to look directly at Zhao Jinbo. If he didn't care just now. Now, his killing intent has risen. Grandpa is his reverse scale, and he will die if he touches it. You deserve to die. Yi Shu stared at Zhao Jinbo. Pa. Zhao Jinbo was frightened by Yi Shu's eyes and took a step back. For some reason, at that moment, he felt cold all over and felt the fear of death. Then, he shouted hysterically, kill him for me." Wang Feng frowned, looked at Zhao Jinbo and curled his lips, but still waved his hand, "Do it." Bang! Sniper Li Dao fired. Defense shield. Yi Shu was prepared. The moment Wang Feng opened his mouth, Yi Shu activated his skill, defense shield. Instantly, a transparent spherical shield formed around him, protecting him in the middle. Bang! The sniper's bullet hit the shield and bounced off directly. What? Wang Feng was shocked. Isn't the shield a skill that only the third turn mage can learn? Why can this kid in front of him learn it? But he didn't panic, but said, "Old Zhong, break the shield for me." "Yes, big brother." The tall knight Zhong Fan held the shield in his hand and rushed directly towards Yi Shu. There was a faint silver light flashing on his body. Here it comes. The knight's signature skill, heavy shield strike. This move can not only stun the target, but also break the shield. Swoosh! The hidden assassin, Chen Bo, suddenly attacked. The sharp blade in his hand turned into a stream of light, and stabbed directly at Yi Shu. If Zhong Fan could break Yi Shu's shield, he could kill Yi Shu in the first place. It must be said that the cooperation between them is still very tacit. Seeing that the knight was about to hit him. Snap! Yi Shu snapped his fingers lightly, and then said, "Come out." Buzz! Just as the moment Shu snapped his fingers, a huge magic array opened in front of him. Crack, crack, crack. Then, bone horses rushed out of the magic array, and on the back of the horses sat a tall skeleton knight, holding a bone spear, exuding a powerful aura. The sudden appearance of the skeleton knight scared away the knight Zhongfan and the assassin Chen Bo. They stopped the pace of the attack. After the three skeleton knights appeared, they stood in front of Yishu and looked directly at Zhao Jinbo and his group. Kill all the people in front of you, Yishu said lightly. Since you want his life, you must be prepared to be killed by him. Caw caw. The skeleton knight raised his bone spear and pulled the reins of the skeleton horse, and the skeleton horse rushed out with a whoosh sound. Lao Zhong, raise your shield to protect. Li Dao, kill him instantly. Chen Bo, find a chance to kill this guy. Captain Wang Feng kept giving orders. Swish. At the same time, he also drew out his sword and rushed up directly. But, caw caw, a skeleton knight rushed over and pierced the knight Zhongfan who was holding the shield with one move. The skeleton knight's bone spear piercing had been upgraded, and it was not something that a small knight like him could block. On the other side, a skeleton knight rode a skeleton horse and charged, knocking Li Dao over, and directly raised his hand to lift Li Dao up. Under the powerful mobility of the skeleton knight, he had no way to escape. The sniper without anyone to protect him, that's it. The skeleton knight held his head, lifted him up, and then squeezed it hard. Crack. The scene was like a watermelon exploding. Finally, the assassin Chen Bo, at the moment he attacked Yishu, a skeleton knight turned back and threw a bone spear from a distance, accurately stabbing him through. This is the new skill of the skeleton knight after it was upgraded to level 2. Bone spear throwing. The skeleton knight throws the bone spear in his hand, locks the target, attacks the target, hits it 100%, and causes 200% damage. A very powerful skill. In less than a minute, the three people in this team were killed by the skeleton knight. It was a complete one-sided crushing. And Yishu stood there from beginning to end, without moving a step. At this moment, Wang Feng just rushed in front of Yishu. Gotcha! Wang Feng stopped charging, holding a long knife, and turned back with difficulty. Then, his pupils suddenly shrank. Zhongfan, who was holding a shield, was pierced by a bone spear, kneeling on the ground with his eyes blurred, and died completely. Li Dao was the worst. His whole head was crushed by a skeleton knight, leaving only a headless corpse falling to the ground. And beside him, Chen Bo, who was about to assassinate Yishu, was also pierced through the whole body by a bone spear. Captain, I don't want to. Save me. At this moment, Chen Bo was not dead yet. He looked at Wang Feng, covered his chest, and reached out to Wang Feng to pull it. Then, he opened his mouth and spat out a mouthful of blood. Then, he fell to the ground with a bang, and twitched a few times. He was deader than dead. In less than a minute, all his teammates died. Ah! At this moment, Wang Feng collapsed. The teammates he had been with day and night were killed just like that. They still had many plans to complete. They were just discussing to go to the blue zone to make some money. Chen Bo also wanted to take his daughter to Kyoto to see the world. Zhang Fan also planned to take his wife back to her parents' home after returning. He had been pursuing the senior for 3 years, and finally, he was going to marry her this year, and the wedding date was set. They both had their own families, and they were the pillars of their families. With this fall, their families also collapsed. At this moment, Wang Feng regretted why he took on the job of assassinating Yishu for Zhao Jinbo's tens of millions. Yishu looked at him coldly and said lightly, I gave you a chance. If you don't cherish your own lives, don't blame me. Swish. Wang Feng turned around, his eyes bloodshot, staring at Yishu and roaring, You beast, do you know how many families you have destroyed? Beast. Ha ha. Yishu sneered, killing you will destroy the family. If you kill me, it will be in vain, right? We are all adults, stop dreaming. Facing Wang Feng's roar, Yishu said calmly, Since you want to kill me, be prepared to be killed in return. If it was me who fell in a pool of blood, would you say your teammates are yourself or beasts? Will you consider my family? I don't think so. You will talk and laugh, and ask Zhao Jinbo for credit and reward. You only care about yourselves, and I am the same. In that case, everyone speaks based on their abilities. So, now, no one complains. I'm going to kill you. Wang Feng was completely crazy. He exploded, and raised the long knife in his hand suddenly. Puff! Suddenly, a long sword broke through the air and directly cut off Wang Feng's head with one sword. His head was cut off in an instant. Gululu! Wang Feng's head rolled far away. He didn't hurt Yishu at all until his death. Bang! A huge skeleton warrior wearing armor and holding a broadsword fell in front of Yishu. Death Commander. While Yishu was talking to Wang Feng, Yishu had quietly summoned it. It's not that Yishu didn't dare to fight Wang Feng. Because he wanted to make a quick decision. So what if he was a level 23 second level warrior? In front of the Death Commander, he still couldn't hold out for a round. Of course, this was also due to Wang Feng's carelessness. He was completely confused. The death of his companions made him lose his correct judgment. This made the Death Commander take action. Otherwise, he should have been able to fight the Death Commander for a few moves. After chopping off Wang Feng's head with one move, the Death Commander raised his broadsword and slowly put it into the scabbard behind him. From beginning to end, he never looked at Wang Feng again. Whoosh! A gust of wind blew, and the Death Commander's cloak rustled. Trample, tramp, tramp. The next moment, the skeleton knights rode on their white bone war horses and surrounded Zhao Jinbo in an instant. Ah! It all happened so fast that Zhao Jinbo was completely stunned. When he saw Wang Feng's brain being chopped off, he couldn't help but widen his eyes and sat on the ground. When a group of skeleton knights surrounded him, he trembled all over, and was even scared to pee on the spot. He saw the tyranny of the skeleton knights, who simply killed people without blinking an eye. Thinking of Li Dao, whose head was crushed by the skeleton knight before, his heart was so scared that it almost stopped beating. Yishu walked in step by step. Paw, paw, paw. Zhao Jinbo was startled, turned over and got up, knelt on the ground, knelt all the way to Yishu, and kowtowed continuously, "Forgive me, forgive me. I will never dare to do it again, never dare to do it again. Chen Yanyi is yours, all yours. Forgive me. I don't want to die. I don't want to die." Zhao Jinbo kowtowed like pounding garlic. If I had known this would happen, I wouldn't have done it in the first place. Looking at Zhao Jinbo, Yishu looked cold. He suddenly felt a little boring. There were some things he didn't want to say anymore, raised his hand and waved. Swish! A bone spear flew across the sky, and a skeleton knight attacked. Swish! Directly stabbed Zhao Jinbo to death coldly and ruthlessly. Ah! Zhao Jinbo widened his eyes and looked at the bone spear on his chest in disbelief. He was born in a wealthy family. Even if he awakened to a bad profession, he was destined to be extremely rich in this life. He would inherit the family business in the future, and he would have a bright future and everything he wanted. Even if he could not be a strong man who surpassed everyone, he was also a wealthy man, and it was no problem for him to live a carefree life. If he could get pure dragon blood, he could even live for 200 or 300 years, but now, everything has become a vain, he is going to die. For Chen Yanyi, he actually lost his life here. At the moment of death, feeling the passing of life, he woke up and regretted it. If he could do it again, he would never enter the wilderness area. But, everything was too late, there was no regret medicine in the world. Zhao Jinbo's eyes gradually blurred, and then, bang, fell to the ground with a thud. The skeleton knight rode over and pulled out his bone spear. Yishu knew the principle of letting the tiger go back to the mountain. If he let him go, there would be endless troubles in the future. Don't these people have backers or backers? Let alone Zhao Jinbo, if he let him go, he would bring him endless troubles. So, Yishu was not naive. Since the first one was killed, the result was already doomed. Yishu did not gloat over the misfortune, nor did he feel refreshed. Finally, Yishu piled their bodies together and burned them cleanly with a fire, letting them return to dust. After doing all this, Yishu took back all the skeleton knights and the Death Commander. Then he turned around and set out on the road back to the base city alone. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.